Genesis, Bereshit. Chapter 1. In the beginning, Elohim created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Ruach of Elohim moved upon the face of the waters. And Elohim said, "Let there be light." And there was light. And Elohim saw the light, that it was good. And Elohim divided the light from the darkness. And Elohim called the light day, and the darkness he called night, and the evening and the morning were the first day. And Elohim said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters." And Elohim made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And Elohim called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. And Elohim said, "Let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear." And it was so. And Elohim called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters called he seas. And Elohim saw that it was good. And Elohim said, "Let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth." And it was so. And the earth brought forth grass, and herb yielding seed after his kind, and the tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself after his kind. And Elohim saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the third day. And Elohim said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs, and for seasons, and for days and years. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth." And it was so. And Elohim made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. And Elohim set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And Elohim saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the fourth day. And Elohim said, "Let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that has life, and fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven." And Elohim created great whales, and every living creature that moves, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And Elohim saw that it was good. And Elohim blessed them, saying, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let fowl multiply in the earth." And the evening and the morning were the fifth day. And Elohim said, "Let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle, and creeping thing, and beast of the earth after his kind." And it was so. And Elohim made the beast of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creeps upon the earth after his kind. And Elohim saw that it was good. And Elohim said, "Let us make Adam in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps upon the earth." So Elohim created Adam in his own image. In the image of Elohim created he him. Male and female created he them. And Elohim blessed them. And Elohim said unto them, "Be fruitful, and multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moves upon the earth." And Elohim said, "Behold, I have given you every herb-bearing seed which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat. And to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creeps upon the earth wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for meat." And it was so. And Elohim saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the sixth day. Chapter 2. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And on the seventh day Elohim ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made. And Elohim blessed the seventh day, and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which Elohim created and made. These are the generations of the heavens and of the earth when they were created, in the day that Yahuah Elohim made the earth and the heavens. And every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew. For Yahuah Elohim had not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was not a man to till the ground. But there went up a mist from the earth, and watered the whole face of the ground. And Yahuah Elohim formed Adam of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and Adam became a living soul. And Yahuah Elohim planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put Adam, whom he had formed. And out of the ground made Yahuah Elohim to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight, and good for food, the tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And a river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from thence it was parted, and became into 4 heads. The first is Pishon. That is it which compasses the whole land of Havilah, where there is gold. And the gold of that land is good. There is bdellium and the onyx stone. And the name of the second river is Gihon. The same is it that compasses the whole land of Cush. And the name of the third river is Hiddekel. That is it which goes toward the east of Ashur. And the fourth river is Perath. And Yahuah Elohim took Adam, and put him into the garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. And Yahuah Elohim commanded Adam, saying, Of every tree of the garden you may freely eat, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat of it. For in the day that you eat thereof you shall surely die. And Yahuah Elohim said, It is not good that Adam should be alone. I will make him an helpmeet for him. And out of the ground Yahuah Elohim formed every beast of the field and every fowl of the air, and brought them unto Adam to see what he would call them. And whatsoever Adam called every living creature, that was the name thereof. And Adam gave names to all cattle, and to fowl of the air, and to every beast of the field. But for Adam there was not found a helpmeet for him. And Yahuah Elohim caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs, and closed up the flesh instead thereof. And the rib which Yahuah Elohim had taken from Adam made he a woman, and brought her unto Adam. And Adam said, This is now bone of my bones, and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. And they were both naked, Adam and his wife, and were not ashamed. Chapter 3. Now the Nachash was more subtle than any beast of the field which Yahuah Elohim had made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, has Elohim said, You shall not eat of every tree of the garden? And the woman said to Nachash, We may eat of the fruit of all of the trees of the garden. But of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Elohim has said, You shall not eat of it, neither shall you touch it, lest you die. And the Nachash said unto the woman, You shall not surely die. For Elohim does know that in the day you eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and you shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. And the eyes of them both were opened, and they knew that they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves together, and made themselves aprons. And then they heard the voice of Yahuah Elohim walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of Yahuah Elohim amongst the trees of the garden. And Yahuah Elohim called unto Adam, and said unto him, Where are you? And he said, I heard your voice in the garden, and I was afraid, because I was naked, and I hid myself. And he said, Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten of the tree whereof I commanded that you should not eat? But Adam said, The woman whom you gave to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I did eat. And Yahuah Elohim said unto the woman, What is this that you have done? And the woman said, The Nachash beguiled me, and I did eat. And Yahuah Elohim said unto the Nachash, Because you have done this, you are cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. Upon your belly shall you go, and dust you shall eat all the days of your life. And I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed. It shall bruise your head, and you shall bruise his heel. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply your sorrow and your conception. In sorrow you shall bring forth children, and your desire shall be to your husband, and he shall rule over you. And unto Adam he said, Because you have hearkened unto the voice of your wife, and have eaten of the tree, of which I commanded you, saying, You shall not eat of it, cursed is the ground for your sake. In sorrow shall you eat of it all the days of your life. Thorns also and thistles shall bring forth to you, and you shall eat the herb of the field. In the sweat of your face shall you eat bread, till you return unto the ground. For out of it were you taken, for dust you are, and unto dust you shall return. And Adam called his wife's name Yahuah, because she was the mother of all living. Unto Adam also and to his wife did Yahuah Elohim make coats of skins, and clothed them. And Yahuah Elohim said, Behold, the man is become as one of us, to know good and evil. And now, lest he put forth his hand, and take also of the tree of life, and eat, and live forever. Therefore Yahuah Elohim sent him forth from the Garden of Eden, to till the ground from whence he was taken. So he drove out the man. And he placed at the east of the Garden of Eden cherubims, and a flaming sword which turned every way to keep the way of the tree of life. Chapter 4. And Adam knew Yahuah his wife, and she conceived, and bare Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from Yahuah. And she again bare his brother Havel. And Havel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. In the process of time it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto Yahuah. And Havel, who also brought of the firstlings of his flock, and of the fat thereof. And Yahuah had respect unto Havel and to his offering. But to Cain and to his offering he had not respect. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. And Yahuah said unto Cain, Why are you wroth, and why is your countenance fallen? If you do well, shall you not be accepted? And if you do not do well, sin lies at the door. And unto you shall be his desire, and you shall rule over him. And Cain talked with Havel his brother. And it came to pass, when they were in the field, that Cain rose up against Havel his brother, and slew him. And Yahuah said unto Cain, Where is Havel your brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper? And he said, What have you done? The voice of your brother's blood cries unto me from the ground. And now are you cursed from the earth, which has opened her mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. When you till the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto you her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shall you be in the earth. And Cain said unto Yahuah, My punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, you have driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from your face shall I be hid, and I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth, and it shall come to pass that every one that finds me shall slay me. And Yahuah said unto him, Therefore whoever slays Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And Yahuah set a mark on Cain, lest any finding him should kill him. And Cain went out from the presence of Yahuah, and dwelt in the land of Nod on the east of Eden. And Cain knew his wife, and she conceived, and bare Hanok. And he built a city, and called the name of the city after the name of his son, Hanok. And unto Hanok was born Irad. Arad begat Mehujael, and Mehujael begat Metushael, and Metushael begat Lamech. And Lamech took unto him 2 wives. The name of the one was Adah, and the name of the other was Tzillah. And Adah bare Yabal. He was the father of such as dwell in tents, and of such as have cattle. And his brother's name was Yuval. He was the father of all such as handle the harp and organ. And Tzillah, she also bare Tuval-Cain, an instructor of every artificer in brass and iron. And the sister of Tuval-Cain was Naamah. And Lamech said unto his wives, Adah and Tzillah, Hear my voice, you wives of Lamech, hearken unto my speech, for I have slain a man to my wounding, and a young man to my hurt. If Cain shall be avenged 7-fold, truly Lamech 70 and 7-fold. And Adam knew his wife again, and she bare a son, and called his name Sheth. For Elohim said, She had appointed me another seed instead of Havel, whom Cain slew. And to Sheth, to him also there was born a son, and he called his name Enosh. Then began men to call upon the name of Yahuah. Chapter 5. This is the book of the generations of Adam. In the day that Elohim created Adam, in the likeness of Elohim made he him. Male and female created he them, and blessed them, and called their name Adam in the day when they were created. And Adam lived 130 years, and begat a son in his own likeness, and after his image, and called his name Sheth. And the days of Adam after he had begotten Sheth were 800 years, and he begat sons and daughters. And all the days that Adam lived were 930 years, and he died. And Sheth lived 105 years, and begat Enosh. And Sheth lived after he begat Enosh 807 years, and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Sheth were 912 years, and he died. And Enosh lived 90 years, and begat Canaan. And Enosh lived after he begat Canaan 815 years, and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Enosh were 905 years, and he died. And Canaan lived 70 years, and begat Mahalalel. And Canaan lived after he begat Mahalalel 840 years, and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Canaan were 910 years, and he died. And Mahalalel lived 65 years, and begat Yered. And Mahalalel lived after he begat Yered 830 years, and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Mahalalel were 895 years, and he died. And Yered lived 162 years, and he begat Hanok. And Yered lived after he begat Hanok 800 years, and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Yered were 962 years, and he died. And Hanok lived 65 years, and begat Methuselah. And Hanok walked with Elohim, after he begat Methuselah 300 years, and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Hanok were 365 years. And Hanok walked with Elohim, and he was not, for Elohim took him. And Methuselah lived 187 years, and begat Lamech. And Methuselah lived after he begat Lamech 782 years, and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Methuselah were 969 years, and he died. And Lamech lived 182 years, and begat a son. And he called his name Noach, saying, The same shall comfort us concerning our work and toil of our hands, because of the ground which Yahuah has cursed. And Lamech lived after he begat Noach 595 years, and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Lamech were 707 years, and he died. And Noach was 500 years old. And Noach begat Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Chapter 6. And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of Elohim saw the daughters of men that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. And Yahuah said, My ruach shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. There were Nephil in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of Elohim came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them. The same became mighty men which were of old, men of renown. And Elohim saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And it repented Yahuah that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. And Yahuah said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and the creeping thing, and the fowls of the air, for it repents me that I have made them. But Noach found grace in the eyes of Yahuah. These are the generations of Noach. Noach was a just man and perfect in his generations, and Noach walked with Elohim. And Noach begat 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. The earth was also corrupt before Elohim, and the earth was filled with violence. And Elohim looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted his way upon the earth. And Elohim said unto Noach, The end of all flesh is come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them. And behold, I will destroy them with the earth. Make you an ark of gopher wood. Rooms shall you make in the ark, and shall pitch it within and without with pitch. And this is the fashion you shall make it of. The length of the ark shall be 300 cubits, the breadth of it 50 cubits, and the height of it 30 cubits. A window shall you make to the ark, and in a cubit shall you finish it above, and the door of the ark shall you set in the side thereof. With lower, second, and third stories shall you make it. And behold, I, even I, do bring a flood of waters upon the earth to destroy all flesh, wherein is the breath of life from under heaven, and everything that is in the earth shall die. But with you I will establish my covenant, and you shall come into the ark, you and your sons and your wife and your sons' wives with you. And every living thing of all flesh, 2 of every sort shall you bring into the ark, to keep them alive with you. They shall be male and female. Of fowls after their kind, and of cattle after their kind, of every creeping thing of the earth after his kind, 2 of every sort shall come unto you, to keep them alive. And take you unto you of all food that is eaten, and you shall gather it to you, and it shall be food for you and for them. Thus did Noach, according to all that Elohim commanded him, so did he. Chapter 7. And Yahuah said unto Noach, Come you and all your house into the ark, for you have I seen righteous before me in this generation. Of every clean beast ye shall take to you by 7s, the male and his female, and of beasts that are not clean by 2, the male and his female. Of fowls also of the air by 7s, the male and the female, to keep seed alive upon the face of the earth. For yet 7 days, and I will cause it to rain upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights, and every living substance that I have made will I destroy from off the face of the earth. And Noach did according to all that Yahuah commanded him. And Noach was 600 years old when the flood of waters was upon the earth. And Noach went in, and his sons, and his wife, and his son's wife with him, into the ark, because of the waters of the flood. Of the clean beasts, and of the beasts that are not clean, and of fowls, and of everything that creeps upon the earth, there went in 2 and 2 unto Noach into the ark, the male and the female, as Elohim had commanded Noach. And it came to pass after 7 days that the waters of the flood were upon the earth. In the 600th year of Noach's life, in the 2nd month, the 17th day of the month, the same day were all the fountains of the great deep broken up, and the windows of heaven were opened. And the rain was upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. In the selfsame day entered Noach, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, the sons of Noach, and Noach's wife, and the 3 wives of his sons with them, into the ark. They and every beast after his kind, and all the cattle after their kind, and every creeping thing that creeps upon the earth after his kind, and every fowl after his kind, every bird of every sort. And they went in unto Noach into the ark, 2 and 2 of all flesh, wherein is the breath of life. And they that went in male and female of all flesh, as Elohim had commanded him, and Yahuah shut him in. And the flood was 40 days upon the earth, and the waters increased and bare up the ark, and it was lifted up above the earth. And the waters prevailed, and were increased greatly upon the earth, and the ark went upon the face of the waters. And the waters prevailed exceedingly upon the earth, and all the high hills that were under the whole heaven were covered. 15 cubits upward did the waters prevail, and the mountains were covered. And all flesh died that moved upon the earth, both fowl, and of cattle, and of beast, and of every creeping thing that creeps upon the earth, and every man. All in whose nostrils was the breath of life, of all that was in the dry land, died. And every living substance was destroyed which was upon the face of the ground, both man and cattle, and the creeping things, and the fowl of the heaven, and they were destroyed from the earth. And Noach only remained alive, and they that were with him in the ark. And the waters prevailed upon the earth 150 days. Chapter 8. And Elohim remembered Noach, and every living thing, and all the cattle that was with him in the ark. And Elohim made a wind to pass over the earth, and the waters assuaged. The fountains also of the deep and the windows of heaven were stopped, and the rain from heaven was restrained. And the waters returned from off the earth continually. And after the end of the 150 days, the waters were abated. And the ark rested in the 7th month, on the 17th day of the month, upon the mountains of Ararat. And the waters decreased continually until the 10th month. In the 10th month, on the 1st day of the month, were the tops of the mountains seen. And it came to pass at the end of 40 days that Noach opened the window of the ark which he had made. And he sent forth a raven, which went forth to and fro until the waters were dried up from off the earth. Also he sent forth a dove from him, to see if the waters were abated from off the face of the ground. But the dove found no rest for the sole of her foot, and she returned unto him into the ark, for the waters were on the face of the whole earth. Then he put forth his hand, and took her, and pulled her unto him into the ark. And he stayed yet another 7 days. And again he sent forth the dove out of the ark. And the dove came into him in the evening, and lo, in her mouth was an olive leaf plucked off. So Noach knew that the waters were abated from off the earth. And he stayed yet another 7 days, and sent forth the dove, which returned not again unto him any more. And it came to pass in the 601st year, in the 1st month, the 1st day of the month, the waters were dried up from off the earth. And Noach removed the covering of the ark, and looked, and behold, the face of the ground was dry. And in the 2nd month, on the 7th and 20th day of the month, was the earth dried. And Elohim spoke unto Noach, saying, Go forth out of the ark, you and your wife and your sons wives with you. Bring forth with you every living thing that is with you, of all flesh, both of fowl and of cattle, and of every creeping thing that creeps upon the earth, that they may breed abundantly in the earth, and be fruitful, and multiply upon the earth. And Noach went forth, and his sons wives with him. Every beast, every creeping thing, and every fowl, and whatsoever creeps upon the earth, after their kinds, went forth out of the ark. And Noach built an altar unto Yahuah, and took of every clean beast, and of every clean fowl, and offered burnt offerings on the altar. And Yahuah smelled a sweet savor, and Yahuah said in his heart, I will not again curse the ground any more for man's sake, for the imagination of man's heart is evil from his youth. Neither will I again smite any more every living thing, as I have done. While the earth remains, seed time and harvest, and cold and heat, and summer and winter, and day and night shall not cease. Chapter 9. And Elohim blessed Noach and his sons, and said unto them, Be fruitful, and multiply, and replenish the earth. And the fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth, and upon every fowl of the air, upon all that moves upon the earth, and upon all the fishes of the sea. Into your hand they are delivered. Every moving thing that lives shall be meat for you, even as the green herb have I given you all things. But flesh with the life thereof, which is the blood thereof, shall you not eat. And surely your blood of your lives will I require. At the hand of every beast will I require it, and at the hand of man, and at the hand of every man's brother will I require the life of man. Whoso shed man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. For in the image of Elohim made he man. And you, be you fruitful and multiply, bring forth abundantly in the earth, and multiply therein. And Elohim spoke unto Noach and his sons with him, saying, And I, behold, I establish my covenant with you, and with your seed after you, and with every living creature that is with you, of the fowl, of the cattle, and of every beast of the earth with you, from all that go out of the ark to every beast of the earth. And I will establish my covenant with you. Neither shall all flesh be cut off any more by the waters of a flood, neither shall there any more be a flood to destroy the earth. And Elohim said, This is the token of the covenant which I make between me and you and every living creature that is with you for perpetual generations. I do set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be for a token of a covenant between me and the earth. And it shall come to pass, when I bring a cloud over the earth, that the bow shall be seen in the cloud. And I will remember my covenant, which is between me and you and every living creature of all flesh, and the waters shall no more become a flood to destroy all flesh. And the bow shall be in the cloud, and I will look upon it, that I may remember the everlasting covenant between Elohim and every living creature of all flesh that is upon the earth. And Elohim said unto Noach, This is the token of the covenant which I have established between me and all flesh that is upon the earth. And the sons of Noach that went forth of the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And Ham is the father of Canaan. These are the 3 sons of Noach, and of them was the whole earth overspread. And Noach began to be a husbandman, and he planted a vineyard, and he drank of the wine, and was drunken, and he was uncovered within his tent. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father, and told his 2 brethren without. And Shem and Japheth took a garment, and laid it upon both their shoulders, and went backward, and covered the nakedness of their father. And their faces were backward, and they saw not their father's nakedness. And Noach awoke from his wine, and knew what his younger son had done unto him. And he said, Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be unto his brethren. And he said, Blessed be Yahuah Elohim of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. Elohim shall enlarge Japheth, and he shall dwell in the tents of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. And Noach lived after the flood 350 years. And all the days of Noach were 950 years, and he died. Chapter 10. Now these are the generations of the sons of Noach, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and unto them were sons born after the flood. The sons of Japheth, Gomer, and Magog, and Medai, and Yahuah, and Tubal, and Meshech, and Tairas. And the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, Rephath, Togarmah. And the sons of Yahuah, Elisha, and Tarshish, and Kittim, and Dodanim. By these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands, every one after his tongue, after their families, in their nations. And the sons of Ham, Cush, Mitzrayim, and Put, and Canaan. And the sons of Cush, Seba, and Hauilah, Sebtah, Ramah, Sabteka. And the sons of Ramah, Sheba, and Dedan. And Cush begat Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in the earth. He was a mighty hunter before Yahuah, wherefore it is said, even as Nimrod the mighty hunter before Yahuah. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, and Erech, and Akkad, and Calneh, in the land of Shinar. Out of that land went forth Ashur, and built Nineveh, and the city Rehoboth, and Calach. And Resen, between Nineveh and Calach, the same is a great city. And Mitzrayim begat Ludim, and Anamim, and Lahabim, and Naphtuhim, and Pathrusim, and Casluhim, out of whom came Philistim, and Caphtorim. And Canaan begat Sidon, his firstborn, and Het, and the Jebusi, and the Emori, and the Girgashi, and the Heui, and the Archi, and the Sini, and the Arvadi, and the Tsemarvi, and the Hamathi, and afterward were the families of the Kenai spread abroad. And the border of the Kenai was from Sidon as you come to Gerar unto Azah, as you go unto Sidom, and Amorah, and Admah, and Seboim, even unto Lasha. These are the sons of Ham, after their families, after their tongues, in their countries, and in their nations. Unto Shem also, the father of all of the children of Aber, the brother of Japheth the elder, even to him were children born. The children of Shem, Elam, Ashur, Arpachshad, and Lud, and Aram, and Canaan. The children of Aram, Uz, and Hul, and Gether, and Mash. And Arpachshad begat Canaan, and Canaan begat Shelach, and Shelach begat Aber. And unto Aber were born 2 sons. The name of one was Peleg, for in his days was the earth divided, and his brother's name was Yoktan. And Yoktan began Almadad, and Sheleph, and Hatzarmaueth, and Yerech, and Hadaram, and Uzal, and Diklah, and Obal, and Abimael, and Sheba, and Ophir, and Hauilah, and Yobab. All these were sons of Yoktan, and their dwelling was from Mesha, as you go unto Sephar, a mount of the east. These are the sons of Shem, after their families, after their tongues, in their lands, after their nations. These are the families of the sons of Noach, after their generations, in their nations, and by these were the nations divided in the earth after the flood. Chapter 11. And the whole earth was of one language, and of one speech. And it came to pass, as they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. And they said to one another, Go, let us make brick, and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar. And they said, Go to, let us build us a city and a tower, whose top may reach unto heaven, and let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. And Yahuah came down to see the city and the tower, which the children of men built. And Yahuah said, Behold, the people is one, and they have all one language, and this they begin to do. And now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. Go to, let us go down, and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. So Yahuah scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off to build the city. Therefore is the name of it called Babel, because Yahuah did there confound the language of all the earth. From thence did Yahuah scatter them abroad upon the face of all the earth. These are the generations of Shem. Shem was 100 years old, and began Arpachshad 2 years after the flood. And Shem lived after he begat Arpachshad 500 years, and begat sons and daughters. And Arpachshad lived 135 years, and begat Canaan. Arpachshad lived after he begat Canaan 430 years, and begat sons and daughters. And Canaan lived 130 years, and begot Shelach. And Canaan lived after he had begotten Shelach 330 years, and begot sons and daughters. And Shelach lived 130 years, and begat Aber. And Shelach lived after he begat Aber 330 years, and begat sons and daughters. And Aber lived 134 years, and begat Peleg. And Aber lived after he begat Peleg 370 years, and begat sons and daughters. And Peleg lived 130 years, and begat Reu. And Peleg lived after he begat Reu 209 years, and begat sons and daughters. And Reu lived 132 years, and begat Serug. And Reu lived after he begat Serug 207 years, and begat sons and daughters. And Serug lived 130 years, and begat Nahor. And Serug lived after he begat Nahor 200 years, and begat sons and daughters. And Nahor lived 179 years, and begat Terach. Nahor lived after he begat Terach 125 years, and begat sons and daughters. And Terach lived 70 years, and begat Abram, Nahor, and Haran. Now these are the generations of Terach. Terach begat Abram, Nahor, and Haran begat Lot. And Haran died before his father Terach, in the land of his nativity, in Ur of the Chaldee. And Abram and Nahor took them wives. The name of Abram's wife was Sarai, and the name of Nahor's wife Milcah, and the daughter of Haran, the father of Milcah, and the father of Iscah. But Sarai was barren, and she had no child. And Terach took Abram his son, and Lot the son of Haran his son's son, and Sarai his daughter-in-law, his son Abram's wife, and they went forth with them from Ur of the Chaldee to go into the land of Canaan. And they came unto Haran, and dwelt there. And the days of Terach were 205 years, and Terach died in Haran. Chapter 12. Now Yahuah had said unto Abram, Get you out of your country, and from your kindred, and from your father's house, unto a land that I will show you. And I will make of you a great nation, and I will bless you, and make your name great, and you shall be a blessing. And I will bless them that bless you, and curse them that curses you, and in you shall all families of the earth be blessed. So Abram departed as Yahuah had spoken unto him, and Lot went with him. And Abram was 75 years old when he departed out of Haran. And Abram took Sarai his wife, and Lot his brother's son, and all their substance that they had gathered, and the souls that they had gotten in Haran, and they went forth to go into the land of Canaan. And into the land of Canaan they came. And Abram passed through the land unto the place of Shechem, unto the plain of Moreh, and the Kenai was then in the land. And Yahuah appeared unto Abram, and said, Unto your seed will I give this land. And there built he an offer unto Yahuah, who appeared unto him. And he removed from thence unto a mountain on the east of Bethel, and pitched his tent, having Bethel on the west, and Hai on the east. And there he built an altar unto Yahuah, and called upon the name of Yahuah. And Abram journeyed, going on still toward the south. And there was a famine in the land. And Abram went down into Mitzrayim to sojourn there, for the famine was grievous in the land. And it came to pass, when he was come near to enter into Mitzrayim, that he said unto Sarai his wife, Behold now, I know that you are a fair woman to look upon. Therefore it shall come to pass, when the Mitzri shall see you, that they shall say, This is his wife, and they will kill me, but they will save you alive. Say, I pray you, You are my sister, that it may be well with me for your sake, and my soul shall live because of you. And it came to pass, that when Abram was come into Mitzrayim, the Mitzri beheld the woman, that she was very fair. The princes also of Pharaoh saw her, and commended her before Pharaoh. And the woman was taken into Pharaoh's house. And he entreated Abram well for her sake. And he had sheep, and oxen, and he asses, and menservants, and maidservants, and she-asses, and camels. And Yahuah plagued Pharaoh and his house with great plagues because of Sarai, Abram's wife. And Pharaoh called Abram and said, What is this that you hast done unto me? Why did you not tell me she was your wife? Why said you, She is my sister? So I might have taken her to me to wife. Now therefore, behold your wife, take her, and go your way. And Pharaoh commanded his men concerning him, and they sent him away, and his wife, and all that he had. Chapter 13. And Abram went up out of Mitzrayim, he and his wife, and all that he had, and Lot with him, into the south. And Abram was very rich in cattle, in silver, and in gold. And he went on his journeys from the south even to Bethel, unto the place where his tent had been at the beginning, between Bethel and Hai, unto the place of the altar which he had made there at the first. And there Abram called on the name of Yahuah. And Lot also, which went with Abram, had flocks and herds and tents. And the land was not able to bear them, that they might dwell together. For their substance was great, so that they could not dwell together. And there was strife between the herdsmen of Abram's cattle and the herdsmen of Lot's cattle. And the Kenai and the Perizzite dwelled then in the land. And Abram said unto Lot, Let there be no strife, I pray you, between me and you, and between my herdsmen and your herdsmen, for we are brethren. Is not the whole land before you? Separate yourself, I pray you, from me. If you will take to the left hand, then I will go to the right. Or if you depart to the right hand, then I will go to the left. And Lot lifted up his eyes, and beheld all the plain of Jordan, and that it was well watered everywhere, before Yahuah destroyed Sodom and Amorah, even as the garden of Yahuah, like the land of Mitzrayim, as you come into Zoar. Then Lot chose him all the plain of Jordan, and Lot journeyed east, and they separated themselves the one from the other. Abram dwelled in the land of Canaan, and Lot dwelled in the cities of the plain, and pitched his tent toward Sodom. But the men of Sodom were wicked and sinners before Yahuah exceedingly. And Yahuah said unto Abram, after that Lot was separated from him, Lift up now your eyes, and look from the place where you are northward, and southward, and eastward, and westward. For all the land which you see, to you will I give it, and to your seed forever. And I will make your seed as the dust of the earth, so that if a man can number the dust of the earth, then shall your seed also be numbered. Arise, walk through the land, in the length of it, and in the breadth of it, for I will give it unto you. Then Abram removed his tent, and came and dwelt in the plain of Mamre, which is in Hebron, and built there an altar unto Yahuah. Chapter 14. And it came to pass, in the days of Amraphel, king of Shinar, Arioch, king of Elasar, Kedorlaomer, king of Elam, and Tidal, king of nations, that these made war with Bera, king of Sedom, and with Bersha, king of Amorah, Shinab, king of Admah, and Shemaber, king of Tseboim, and the king of Bela, which is Zoar. All these were joined together in the vale of Sidim, which is the Salt Sea. 12 years they served Kedorlaomer, and the 13th year they rebelled. And in the 14th year came Kedorlaomer and the kings that were with him, and smote the Rapha in Ashtaroth Karnaim, and the Zuzim in Ham, and the Imeim in Shaue Kiriathim, and the Hori in their Mount Seir, unto El Paran, which is by the wilderness. And they returned and came to En-Mishpat, which is in Kadesh, and smote all the country of the Amaleki, and also the Emori that dwelt in Hatzon Tamar. And there went out the king of Sodom, and the king of Amorah, and the king of Admah, and the king of Tseboim, and the king of Bela, which same is Zoar, and they joined battle with them in the vale of Sidim, with Kedorlaomer the king of Elam, and with Tidal the king of nations, and Amraphel king of Shinar, and Arioch king of Elasar, 4 kings with 5. And the vale of Sidim was full of slime pits, and the kings of Sedom and Amorah fled and fell there, and they that remained fled to the mountain. And they took all the goods of Sedom and Amorah, and all their victuals, and went their way. And they took Lot, Abram's brother's son, who dwelt in Sedom, and his goods, and departed. And there came one that had escaped, and told Abram the Ibri, for he dwelt in the plain of Mamre, the Emori, brother of Eshcol, the brother of Aner, and these were confederate with Abram. And when Abram heard that his brother was taken captive, he armed his trained servants, born in his own house, 318, and pursued them unto Dan. And he divided himself against them. he and his servants, by night, and smote them, and pursued them unto Hobah, which is on the left hand of Damascus. And he brought back all the goods, and also brought again his brother Lot, and his goods, and the women also, and the people. And the king of Sodom went out to meet him after his return from the slaughter of Kedorlaomer, and the kings that were with him, at the valley of Shaul, which is the king's dale. And Melchizedek, the king of Shalem, brought forth bread and wine, and he was the Cohen of the most Elyon El. And he blessed him, and said, Blessed be Abram of the most Elyon El, possessor of heaven and earth. And blessed be the most Elyon El, which has delivered your enemies into your hand. And he gave him tithes of all. And the king of Sodom said unto Abram, Give me the persons, and take the goods to yourself. And Abram said to the king of Sodom, I have lift up mine hand unto Yahuah, the most Elyon El, the possessor of heaven and earth, that I will not take from a thread even to a shoe latchet, and that I will not take anything that is yours, lest ye should say, I have made Abram rich, save only that which the young men have eaten, and the portion of the men which went with me, Aner, Eshcol, and Mamre, let them take their portion. Chapter 15. After these things the word of Yahuah came unto Abram in a vision, saying, Fear not, Abram, I am your shield, and your exceeding great reward. And Abram said, Yahuah Elohim, what will you give me, seeing I go childless, and the steward of my house is Eleazar of Damascus? And Abram said, Behold, to me you have given no seed, and lo, one born in my house is mine heir. And behold, the word of Yahuah came unto him, saying, This shall not be your heir, but he that shall come forth out of your own bowels shall be your heir. And he brought him forth abroad, and said, Look now toward heaven, and tell the stars if you be able to number them. And he said unto him, So shall your seed be. And he believed in Yahuah, and he counted it to him for righteousness. And he said unto him, I am Yahuah, that brought you out of Ur of the Chaldee, to give you this land to inherit it. And he said, Yahuah Elohim, whereby shall I know that I shall inherit it? And he said unto him, Take me an heifer of 3 years old, and a she-goat of 3 years old, and a ram of 3 years old, and a turtle-dove, and a young pigeon. And he took unto him all these, and divided them in the midst, and laid each piece one against another. But the birds divided he not. And when the fowls came down upon the carcasses, Abram drove them away. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and lo, an horror of great darkness fell upon him. And he said unto Abram, Know of a surety that your seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward shall they come out with great substance. And you shall go to your fathers in peace, you shall be buried in a good old age. But in the 4th generation they shall come hither again, for the iniquity of the Emori is not yet full. And it came to pass that when the sun went down, and it was dark, behold, a smoking furnace, and a burning lamp that passed between those pieces. In the same day Yahuah made a covenant with Abram, saying, Unto your seed have I given this land, from the river of the Mitzrayim unto the great river, the river Parath, the Kenai, and the Kenizi, and the Kadmoni, and the Hitti, and the Perizi, and the Rapha, and the Emori, and the Canai, and the Girgashi, and the Yebusi. Chapter 16. Now Sarai, Abram's wife, bare him no children, and she had a handmaid, a Mitzri, whose name was Hagar. And Sarai said unto Abram, Behold now, Yahuah has restrained me from bearing. I pray to you, go in unto my maid. It may be that I may obtain children by her. And Abram hearkened to the voice of Sarai. And Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar her maid, the Mitzri, after Abram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to her husband Abram to be his wife. And he went in unto Hagar, and she conceived. And when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes. And Sarai said unto Abram, My wrong be upon you. I have given my maid into your bosom, and when she saw that she had conceived, I was despised in her eyes. Yahuah judge between me and you. But Abram said unto Sarai, Behold, your maid is in your hand. Do to her as it pleases you. And when Sarai dealt hardly with her, she fled from her face. And the angel of Yahuah found her by a fountain of water in the wilderness, by the fountain in the way to Shur. And he said, Hagar, Sarai's maid, whence came you, and whither will you go? And she said, I flee from the face of my mistress Sarai. And the angel of Yahuah said unto her, Return to your mistress, and submit yourself under her hands. And the angel of Yahuah said unto her, I will multiply your seed exceedingly, that it shall not be numbered for multitude. And the angel of Yahuah said unto her, Behold, you are with child, and shall bear a son, and shall call his name Ishmael, because Yahuah has heard your affliction. And he will be a wild man. His hand will be against every man, and every man's hand against him, and he shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren. And she called the name of Yahuah, that spoke unto her, Uel, see me, for she said, Have I also here looked after him that sees me? Wherefore the well was called Bir Lahai-roi. Behold, it is between Kadesh and Bered. And Hagar bare Abram a son, and Abram called his son's name, which Hagar bare, Ishmael. And Abram was 86 years old when Hagar bare Ishmael to Abram. Chapter 17. And when Abram was 90 years old and 9, Yahuah appeared unto Abram and said unto him, I am Shaddai, El, walk before me, and be you perfect. And I will make my covenant between me and you, and will multiply you exceedingly. And Abram fell on his face, and Elohim talked with him, saying, As for me, behold, my covenant is with you, and you shall be a father of many nations. Neither shall your name any more be called Abram, but your name shall be Abraham, for a father of many nations have I made you. And I will make you exceedingly fruitful, and I will make nations of you, and kings shall come out of you. And I will establish my covenant between me and you and your seed after you in their generations, for an everlasting covenant, to be an Elohim unto you and to your seed after you. And I will give unto you, and to your seed after you, the land wherein you are a stranger, all the land of the Canaan, for an everlasting possession, and I will be their Elohim. And Elohim said unto Abraham, You shall keep my covenant therefore, you and your seed after you in their generations. This is my covenant which you shall keep between me and you and your seed after you. Every man-child among you shall be circumcised. You shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin, and it shall be a token of the covenant betwixt me and you. And he that is 8 days old shall be circumcised among you, every man-child in your generations. And he that is born in the house, or bought with money of any stranger, which is not of your seed, he that is born in your house, and he that is bought with your money, must needs be circumcised, and my covenant shall be in your flesh for an everlasting covenant. And the uncircumcised man-child, whose flesh of his foreskin is not circumcised, that soul shall be cut off from his people. He has broken my covenant. And Elohim said unto Abraham, As for Sarai your wife, ye shall not call her name Sarai, but Sarah shall her name be. And I will bless her, and give you a son also of her. Yea, I will bless her, and she shall be a mother of nations. Kings of people shall be of her. Then Abraham fell on his face and laughed, and said in his heart, Shall a child be born unto him that is 100 years old? And shall Sarah, that is 90 years old, bear? And Abraham said unto Elohim, Oh, that Ishmael might live before you. And Elohim said, Sarah your wife shall bear you a son indeed, and you shall call his name Yitzhak, and I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his seed after him. And as for Ishmael, I have heard you. Behold, I have blessed him, and will make him fruitful, and will multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes shall he beget, and I will make him a great nation. But my covenant will I establish with Yitzhak, which Sarah shall bear unto you at this set time in the next year. And he left off talking with him, and Elohim went up from Abraham. And Abraham took Ishmael his son, and all that were born in his house, and all that were bought with money, every male among the men of Abraham's house, and circumcised the flesh of their foreskin in the selfsame day as Elohim had said unto him. And Abraham was 90 years old and 9 when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. And Ishmael his son was 13 years old when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. In the selfsame day was Abraham circumcised, and Ishmael his son. And all the men of his house, born in the house, and bought with money of the stranger, were circumcised with him. Chapter 18. And Yahuah appeared unto him in the plains of Mamre, and he sat in the tent door in the heat of the day. And he lifted up his eyes, and looked, and lo, 3 men stood by him. And when he saw them, he ran to meet them from the tent door, and bowed himself toward the ground, and said, My Adonai, if now I have found favor in your sight, pass not away, I pray you, from your servant. Let a little water, I pray you, be fetched, and wash your feet, and rest yourselves under the tree. And I will fetch a morsel of bread, and comfort ye your hearts. After that ye shall pass on, for therefore are ye come to your servant. And they said, So do as you have said. And Abraham hastened into the tent unto Sarah, and said, Make ready quickly 3 measures of fine meal, knead it, and make cakes upon the hearth. And Abraham ran unto the herd, and fetched a calf tender and good, and gave it unto a young man, and he hasted to dress it. And he took butter and milk, and the calf which he had dressed, and set it before them. And he stood by them under the tree, and they did eat. And they said unto him, Where is Sarah your wife? And he said, Behold, in the tent. And he said, I will certainly return unto you according to the time of life. And lo, Sarah your wife shall have a son. And Sarah heard it in the tent door, which was behind him. Now Abraham and Sarah were old and well stricken in age, and it ceased to be with Sarah after the manner of women. Therefore Sarah laughed within herself, saying, After I am waxed old, shall I have pleasure, my Lord being old also? And Yahuah said unto Abraham, Wherefore did Sarah laugh, saying, Shall I of a surety bear a child, which I am old? Is anything too hard for Yahuah? At the time appointed I will return unto you, according to the time of life, and Sarah shall have a son. Then Sarah denied, saying, I laughed not, for she was afraid. And he said, Nay, but you did laugh. And the men rose up from thence, and looked toward Sodom, and Abraham went with them to bring them on the way. And Yahuah said, Shall I hide from Abraham that thing which I do? Seeing that Abraham shall surely become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth shall be blessed in him? For I know him, that he will command his children and his household after him, and they shall keep the way of Yahuah, to do justice and judgment, that Yahuah may bring upon Abraham that which he has spoken of him. And Yahuah said, Because the cry of Sodom and Amorah is great, and because their sin is very grievous, I will go down now, and see whether they have done altogether according to the cry of it, which is come unto me, and if not, I will know. And the men turned their faces from thence, and went toward Sodom. But Abraham stood yet before Yahuah. And Abraham drew near and said, Will you also destroy the righteous with the wicked? Peradventure there be 50 righteous within the city, wilt thou also destroy, and not spare the place for the 50 righteous that are therein? That be far from you to do after this manner, to slay the righteous with the wicked, and that the righteous should be as the wicked, that be far from you? Shall not the judge of all the earth do right? And Yahuah said, If I find in Sedom 50 righteous within the city, then I will spare all the place for their sakes. And Abraham answered and said, Behold now, I have taken upon me to speak unto Adonai, which am but dust and ashes. Peradventure there shall lack 5 of the 50 righteous. Will you destroy all the city for lack of 5? And he said, If I find there 40 and 5, I will not destroy it. And he spoke unto him again, and said, Peradventure shall be 40 found there. And he said, I will not do it for 40's sake. And he said unto him, O let not Adonai be angry, and I will speak. Peradventure shall 30 be found there? And he said, I will not do it if I find 30 there. And he said, Behold now, I have taken upon me to speak unto Adonai. Peradventure shall be 20 found there. And he said, I will not destroy it for 20's sake. And he said, O let not Adonai be angry, and I will speak yet but this once. Peradventure 10 shall be found there. And he said, I will not destroy it for 10's sake. And Yahuah went his way, as soon as he had left communing with Abraham, and Abraham returned unto his place. Chapter 19. And there came 2 angels to Sodom at even, and Lot sat in the gate of Sodom. And Lot, seeing them, rose up to meet them, and bowed himself with his face toward the ground. And he said, Behold now, my lords, turn in, I pray you, into your servant's house, and tarry all night, and wash your feet, and you shall rise up early and go on your ways. And they said, Nay, but we will abide in the street all night. And he pressed upon them greatly, and they turned in unto him, and entered into his house. And he made them a feast, and did bake matzah, and they did eat. But before they lay down, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed the house round, both old and young, all the people from every quarter. And they called out unto Lot, and said unto him, Where are the men which came into you this night? Bring them out to us, that we may know them. And Lot went out at the door to them, and shut the door after him, and said, I pray you, brethren, do not so wickedly. Behold now, I have 2 daughters which have not known man. Let me, I pray you, bring them out unto you, and do you to them as is good in your eyes. Only unto these men do nothing, for therefore came they under the shadow of my roof. And they said, Stand back. And they said again, This one fellow came in to sojourn, and he will needs be a judge. Now we will deal worse with you than with them. And they pressed sore upon the man, even Lot, and came near to break the door. But the men put forth their hand, and pulled Lot into the house to them, and shut the door. And they smote the men that were at the door of the house with blindness, both small and great, so that they wearied themselves to find the door. And the men said to Lot, Have you here any besides? Son-in-law, and your sons, and your daughters, and whatsoever you have in the city, bring them out of this place. For we will destroy this place, because the cry of them is waxen great before the face of Yahuah, and Yahuah has sent us to destroy it. And Lot went out, and spoke to his sons-in-law, which married his daughters, and said, Up, get you out of this place, for Yahuah will destroy this city. But he seemed as one that mocked unto his sons-in-law. And when the morning arose, then the angels hastened Lot, saying, Arise, take your wife, and your 2 daughters which are here, lest you be consumed in the iniquity of the city. And while he lingered, the men laid hold upon his hand, and upon the hand of his wife, and upon the hand of his 2 daughters, Yahuah being merciful unto him, and they brought him forth, and set him without the city. And it came to pass, when they had brought them forth abroad, that he said, Escape for your life, look not behind you, neither stay you in all the plain. Escape to the mountain, lest you be consumed. And Lot said to them, Oh, not so, my Adonai. Behold, now your servant has found grace in your sight, and you have magnified your mercy, which you have showed unto me in saving my life. And I cannot escape to the mountain, lest some evil take me and I die. Behold now, this city is near to flee unto, and it is a little one. Oh, let me escape thither. Is it not a little one? And my soul shall live. And he said unto him, See, I have accepted you concerning this thing also, that I will not overthrow this city, for which you have spoken. Haste you, escape thither, for I cannot do anything till you become thither. Therefore the name of the city was called Zoar. The sun was risen upon the earth when Lot entered into Zoar. Then Yahuah rained upon Sodom and upon Amorah brimstone and fire from Yahuah out of heaven. And he overthrew those cities, and all the plain, and all the inhabitants of the cities, and that which grew upon the ground. But his wife looked back from behind him, and she became a pillar of salt. And Abraham got up early in the morning to the place where he stood before Yahuah. And he looked toward Sodom and Amorah, and toward all the land of the plain, and beheld, and lo, the smoke of the country went up as the smoke of a furnace. And it came to pass, when Elohim destroyed the cities of the plain, that Elohim remembered Abraham, and sent Lot out of the midst of the overthrow, when he overthrew the cities in which Lot dwelt. And Lot went up out of Zoar, and dwelt in the mountain, and his 2 daughters with him, for he feared to dwell in Zoar. And he dwelt in a cave, he and his 2 daughters. And the firstborn said to the younger, Our father is old, and there is not a man in the earth to come in unto us after the manner of all the earth. Come, let us make our father drink wine, and we will lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father. And they made their father drink wine that night. And the firstborn went in, and lay with her father, and he perceived not when she lay down, nor when she arose. And it came to pass on the morrow, that the firstborn said unto the younger, Behold, I lay yesternight with my father. Let us make him drink wine this night also, and go you in and lie with him, that we may preserve the seed of our father. And they made their father drink wine that night also. And the younger arose and lay with him, and he perceived not when she lay down, nor when she arose. Thus were both the daughters of Lot with child by their father. And the firstborn bare a son, and called his name Moab. The same is the father of Moab unto this day. And the younger, she also bare a son, and called his name Ben-Ami. The same is the father of the children of Ammon unto this day. Chapter 20. And Abraham journeyed from thence toward the south country, and dwelled between Kadesh and Shur, and sojourned in Gerar. And Abraham said of Sarah his wife, She is my sister. And Abimelech king of Gerar sent, and took Sarah. But Elohim came to Abimelech in a dream by night, and said to him, Behold, you are but a dead man, for the woman which you have taken, for she is a man's wife. But Abimelech had not come near her. And he said, Adonai, will you slay also a righteous nation? Said he not unto me, She is my sister? And she, even she herself said, He is my brother. In the integrity of my heart and innocency of my hands have I done this. And Elohim said unto him in a dream, Yea, I know that you did this in the integrity of your heart, for I also withheld you from sinning against me. Therefore suffered I you not to touch her. Now, therefore restore the man his wife, for he is a prophet, and he shall pray for you, and you shall live. And if you restore her not, know you that you shall surely die, you and all that are yours. Therefore Abimelech rose early in the morning, and called all his servants, and told all these things in their ears, and the men were sore afraid. Then Abimelech called Abraham, and said unto him, What have you done to us? And what have I offended you, that you have brought on me and on my kingdom a great sin? You have done deeds unto me that ought not to be done. And Abimelech said unto Abraham, What saw you that you have done this thing? And Abraham said, Because I thought, Surely the fear of Elohim is not in this place, and they will slay me for my wife's sake. And yet, indeed, she is my sister. She is the daughter of my father, but not the daughter of my mother, and she became my wife. And it came to pass, when Elohim caused us to wander from my father's house, that I said unto her, This is your kindness which you shall show unto me. At every place whither we shall come, say of me, He is my brother. And Abimelech took sheep, and oxen, and men servants, and women servants, and gave them unto Abraham, and restored him Sarah his wife. And Abimelech said, Behold, my land is before you. Dwell where it pleases you. And unto Sarah he said, Behold, I have given your brother 1,000 pieces of silver. Behold, he is to you a covering of the eyes, unto all that are with you, and with all other. Thus she was reproved. So Abraham prayed unto Elohim, and Elohim healed Abimelech and his wife and his maidservants, and they bare children. For Yahuah had fast closed up all the wombs of the house of Abimelech, because of Sarah, Abraham's wife. Chapter 21. And Yahuah visited Sarah as he had said, and Yahuah did unto Sarah as he had spoken. For Sarah conceived, and bare Abraham a son in his old age, at the set time of which Elohim had spoken to him. And Abraham called the name of his son that was born unto him, whom Sarah bare to him, Yitzchak. And Abraham circumcised his son Yitzchak, being 8 days old, as Elohim had commanded him. And Abraham was 100 years old when his son Yitzchak was born unto him. And Sarah said, Elohim has made me to laugh, so that all that hear will laugh with me. And she said, Who would have said unto Abraham that Sarah should have given children suck? For I have borne him a son in his old age. And the child grew and was weaned, and Abraham made a great feast the same day that Yitzchak was weaned. And Sarah saw the son of Hagar the Mitzri, which she had borne unto Abraham mocking. Wherefore she said unto Abraham, Cast out this bondwoman and her son, for the son of this bondwoman shall not be heir with my son, even with Yitzchak. And the thing was very grievous in Abraham's sight because of his son. And Elohim said unto Abraham, Let it not be grievous in your sight because of the lad, and because of your bondwoman. In all that Sarah has said unto you, hearken unto her voice, for in Yitzchak shall your seed be called. And also the son of the bondwoman will I make a nation, because he is your seed. And Abraham rose up early in the morning, and took bread and a bottle of water, and gave it unto Hagar, putting it on her shoulder, and the child, and sent her away. And she departed, and wandered in the wilderness of Beersheba. And the water was spent in the bottle, and she cast the child under one of the shrubs. And she went, and sat down over against him a good way off, as it were a bowshot, for she said, Let me not see the death of the child. And she sat over against him, and lifted up her voice, and wept. And Elohim heard the voice of the lad, and the angel of Elohim called to Hagar out of heaven, and said unto her, What ails you, Hagar? Fear not, for Elohim has heard the voice of the lad where he is. Arise, lift up the lad, and hold him in your hand, for I will make him a great nation. And Elohim opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water, and she went and filled the bottle with water, and gave the lad drink. And Elohim was with the lad, and he grew and dwelt in the wilderness, and became an archer. And he dwelt in the wilderness of Paran, and his mother took him a wife out of the land of Mitzrayim. And it came to pass at that time that Abimelech and Pichol, the chief captain of his host, spoke unto Abraham, saying, Elohim is with you in all that you do. Now therefore swear unto me here by Elohim that you will not deal falsely with me, nor with my son, nor with my son's son. But according to the kindness that I have done unto you, you shall do unto me, and to the land wherein you have sojourned. And Abraham said, I will swear. And Abraham reproved Abimelech because of a well of water, which Abimelech's servants had violently taken away. And Abimelech said, I wot not who has done this thing, neither did you tell me, neither yet heard I of it, but today. And Abraham took sheep and oxen, and gave them unto Abimelech, and both of them made a covenant. And Abraham set 7 ewe lambs of the flock by themselves. And Abimelech said unto Abraham, What mean these 7 ewe lambs which you have set by themselves? And he said, For these 7 ewe lambs shall you take of my hand, that they may be a witness unto me, that I have dug this well. Wherefore he called that place Beersheba, because there they swore both of them. Thus they made a covenant at Beersheba. Then Abimelech rose up, and Pichol, the chief captain of his host, and they returned into the land of the Palestine. And Abraham planted a grove in Beersheba, and called there on the name of Yahuah, the Olam El. And Abraham sojourned in the Palestine land many days. Chapter 22. And it came to pass after these things that Elohim did tempt Abraham, and said unto him, Abraham. And he said, Behold, here I am. And he said, Take now your son, your only son Yitzchak, whom you love, and get you into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which I will tell you of. And Abraham rose up early in the morning, and saddled his ass, and took 2 of his young men with him, and Yitzchak his son, and clave the wood for the burnt offering, and rose up, and went unto the place of which Elohim had told him. Then on the 3rd day Abraham lifted up his eyes, and saw the place afar off. And Abraham said to his young men, Abide you here with the ass, and I and the lad will go yonder and worship, and come again to you. And Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering, and laid it upon Yitzchak his son, and he took the fire in his hand, and a knife, and they went both of them together. And Yitzchak spoke unto Abraham his father, and said, My father. And he said, Here am I, my son. And he said, Behold the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for a burnt offering? And Abraham said, My son, Elohim will provide himself a lamb for a burnt offering. So they went both of them together. And they came to the place which Elohim had told him of. And Abraham built an altar there, and laid the wood in order, and bound Yitzchak his son, and laid him on the altar upon the wood. And Abraham stretched forth his hand, and took the knife to slay his son. And the angel of Yahuah called unto him out of heaven, and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, Here am I. And he said, Lay not your hand upon the lad, neither do you anything unto him. For now I know that you fear Elohim, seeing you have not withheld your son, your only son, from me. And Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, behind him a ram caught in a thicket by his thorns. And Abraham went and took the ram, and offered him up for a burnt offering in the stead of his son. And Abraham called the name of that place Yahuah Yireh, as it is said to this day of the mount of Yahuah, It shall be seen. And the angel of Yahuah called unto Abraham out of heaven the 2nd time, and said, By myself have I sworn, said Yahuah, for because you have done this thing, and have not withheld your son, your only son, that in blessing I will bless you, and in multiplying I will multiply your seed as the stars of the heaven, and as the sand which is upon the seashore, and your seed shall possess the gate of his enemies. And in your seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because you have obeyed my voice. So Abraham returned unto his young men, and they rose up and went together to Beersheba. And Abraham dwelt at Beersheba. And it came to pass after these things that it was told Abraham, saying, Behold, Milcah, she has also borne children unto your brother Nahor. Huz his firstborn, and Buz his brother, and Kemuel the father of Aram, and Kesed, and Hazo, and Pildash, and Yidlaph, and Bethuel. And Bethuel begat Ribkah. These 8 Milcah did bear to Nahor, Abraham's brother. And his concubine, whose name was Reumah, she bare also Tebach, and Gachma, and Tachash, and Maacah. Chapter 23. And Sarah was 127 years old. These were the years of the life of Sarah. And Sarah died at Kiriath Arba, the same is Hebron, in the land of Canaan, And Abraham came to mourn for Sarah, and to weep for her. And Abraham stood up from before his dead, and spoke unto the sons of Heth, saying, I am a stranger, and a sojourner with you. Give me a possession of a burying place with you, that I may bury my dead out of my sight. And the children of Heth answered Abraham, saying unto him, Hear us, my lord, you are a mighty prince among us. In the choice of our sepulchres bury your dead. None of us shall withhold from you his sepulchre, but that you may bury your dead. And Abraham stood up, and bowed himself to the people of the land, even to the children of Heth. And he communed with them, saying, If it be your mind that I should bury my dead out of my sight, hear me, and entreat for me to Ephron the son of Sohar, that he may give me the cave of Machpelah, which he has, which is in the end of his field. For as much money as it is worth, he shall give it to me for a possession, a burying place amongst you. And Ephron dwelt among the children of Heth. And Ephron the Hittite answered Abraham in the audience of the children of Heth, given of all that went in at the gate in his city, saying, Nay, my lord, hear me. The field I give you, and the cave that is therein, I give it to you. In the presence of the sons of my people give I it to you. Bury your dead. And Abraham bowed down himself before the people of the land. And he spoke unto Ephron in the audience of the people of the land, saying, But if you will give it, I pray you, hear me. I will give you money for the field. Take it of me, and I will bury my dead there. And Ephron answered Abraham, saying unto him, My lord, hearken unto me. The land is worth 400 shekels of silver. What is that betwixt me and you? Bury therefore your dead. And Abraham hearkened unto Ephron. And Abraham weighed to Ephron the silver which he had named in the audience of the sons of Heth, 400 shekels of silver, current money with the merchant. And the field of Ephron, which was in Machpelah, which was before Mamre, the field, and the cave which was therein, and all the trees that were in the field, that were in all the borders round about, were made sure unto Abraham for a possession in the presence of the children of Heth, before all that went in at the gate of his city. And after this, Abraham buried Sarah his wife in the cave of the field of Machpelah before Mamre. The same is in Hebron in the land of Canaan. And the field, and the cave that is therein, were made sure unto Abraham for a possession of a burying place by the sons of Heth. Chapter 24. And Abraham was old, and well stricken in age. And Yahuah had blessed Abraham in all things. And Abraham said unto his eldest servant of the house, that ruled over all that he had, Put, I pray you, your hand under my thigh. And I will make you swear by Yahuah, the Elohim of heaven and the Elohim of the earth, that you shall not take a wife unto my son of the daughters of the Kenai, among whom I dwell. But you shall go unto my country, and to my kindred, and take a wife unto my son Yitzchak. And the servant said unto him, Peradventure the woman will not be willing to follow me unto this land. Must I needs bring your son again unto the land from whence you came? And Abraham said unto him, Beware you that you bring not my son thither again. Yahuah Elohim of heaven, which took me from my father's house, and from the land of my kindred, which spoke unto me, and that swore unto me, saying, Unto your seed will I give this land. He shall send his angel before you, and you shall take a wife unto my son from thence. And if the woman will not be willing to follow you, then you shall be clear from this my oath. Only bring not my son thither again. And the servant put his hand under the thigh of Abraham his master, and swore to him concerning that matter. And the servant took 10 camels of the camels of his master, and departed, for all the goods of his master were in his hand. And he arose, and went to Aram Naharaim, unto the city of Nachor. And he made his camels to kneel down without the city by a well of water at the time of the evening, even the time that women go out to draw water. And he said, O Yahuah Elohim, of my master Abraham, I pray you, send me good speed this day, and show kindness unto my master Abraham. Behold, I stand here by the well of water, and the daughters of the men of the city come out to draw water. And let it come to pass, that the damsel to whom I shall say, Let down your pitcher, I pray you, that I may drink, And she shall say, Drink, and I will give your camels drink also. Let the same be she that you have appointed for your servant Yitzhak, and thereby shall I know that you have showed kindness unto my master. And it came to pass, before he had done speaking, that, behold, Ribkah came out, who was born to Bethuel, son of Milcah, the wife of Nahor, Abraham's brother, with her pitcher upon her shoulder. And the damsel was very fair to look upon, a virgin, neither had any man known her. And she went down to the well, and filled her pitcher, and came up. And the servant ran to meet her, and said, Let me, I pray you, drink a little water of your pitcher. And she said, Drink, my lord. And she hasted, and let down her pitcher upon her hand, and gave him drink. And when she had done giving him drink, she said, I will draw water for your camels also, until they have done drinking. And she hasted, and emptied her pitcher into the trough, and ran again unto the well to draw water, and drew for all his camels. And the man, wondering at her, held his peace, to wit, whether Yahuah had made his journey prosperous or not. And it came to pass, as the camels had done drinking, that the man took a golden earring of 1/2 shekel weight, and 2 bracelets for her hands of 10 shekels weight of gold, and said, Whose daughter are you? Tell me, I pray you. Is there room in your father's house for us to lodge in? And she said unto him, I am the daughter of Bethuel, the son of Milcah, which she bare unto Nahor. She said moreover unto him, We have both straw and provender enough, and room to lodge in. And the man bowed down his head, and worshipped Yahuah. And he said, Blessed be Yahuah Elohim of my master Abraham, who has not left destitute my master of his mercy and his truth. I, being in the way, Yahuah led me to the house of my master's brethren. And the damsel ran, and told them of her mother's house these things. And Ribkah had a brother, and his name was Laban. And Laban ran out unto the man unto the well. And it came to pass, when he saw the earring and bracelets upon his sister's hands, and when he heard the words of Ribkah his sister, saying, Thus spoke the man unto me, that he came unto the man, and behold, he stood by the camels at the well. And he said, Come in, you blessed of Yahuah, wherefore stand you without? For I have prepared the house, and room for the camels. And the man came into the house, and he ungirded his camels, and gave straw and provender for the camels, and water to wash his feet, and the men's feet that were with him. And there was set meat before him to eat. But he said, I will not eat, until I have told mine errand. And he said, Speak on. And he said, I am Abraham's servant, and Yahuah has blessed my master greatly, and he is become great, and has given him flocks and herds, and silver and gold, and menservants and maidservants, and camels and asses. And Sarah, my master's wife, bare a son to my master when she was old, and unto him has given all that he has. And my master made me swear, saying, You shall not take a wife to my son of the daughters of the Kenai, in whose land I dwell. But you shall go unto my father's house, and to my kindred, and take a wife unto my son. And I said unto my master, Peradventure the woman will not follow me. And he said unto me, Yahuah, before whom I walk, will send his angel with you, and prosper your way. And you shall take a wife for my son of my kindred, and of my father's house. Then shall you be clear from this oath. When you come to my kindred, and if they give not you one, you shall be clear from my oath. And I came this day unto the well, and said, O Yahuah Elohim, of my master Abraham, now you do prosper my way which I go. Behold, I stand by the well of water, and it shall come to pass that when the virgin comes forth to draw water, and I say to her, Give me, I pray you, a little water of your pitcher to drink, and she say to me, Both drink you, and I will also draw for your camels. Let the same be the woman whom Yahuah has appointed for my master's son. And before I had done speaking in mine heart, behold, Ribkah came forth with her pitcher on her shoulder, and she went down unto the well, and drew water. And I said unto her, Let me drink, I pray you. And she made haste, and let down her pitcher from her shoulder, and said, Drink, and I will give your camels drink also. So I drank, and she made the camels drink also. And I asked her, and said, Whose daughter are you? And she said, The daughter of Bethuel, Nahor's son, whom Milcah bare unto him. And I put the earring upon her face, and the bracelets upon her hands. And I bowed down my head and worshipped Yahuah, and blessed Yahuah Elohim of my master Abraham, which had led me in the right way to take my master's brother's daughter unto his son. And now if you will deal kindly and truly with my master, tell me, and if not, tell me, that I may turn to the right hand or to the left. Then Laban and Bethuel answered and said, The thing proceeds from Yahuah. We cannot speak unto you bad or good. Behold, Ribekah is before you. Take her, and go, and let her be your master's son's wife, as Yahuah has spoken. And it came to pass, that when Abraham's servant heard their words, he worshipped Yahuah, bowing himself to the earth. And the servant brought forth jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment, and gave them to Ribekah. And he gave also to her brother and to her mother precious things. And they did eat and drink, he and the men that were with him, and tarried all night. And they rose up in the morning. And he said, Send me away unto my master. And her brother and her mother said, Let the damsel abide with us a few days, at the least 10. After that she shall go. And he said unto them, Hinder me not, seeing Yahuah has prospered my way. Send me away that I may go to my master. And they said, We will call the damsel and inquire at her mouth. And they called Ribekah, and said unto her, Will you go with this man? And she said, I will go. And they sent away Ribekah their sister, and her nurse, and Abraham's servant, and his men. And they blessed Ribekah, and said unto her, You are our sister. Be you the mother of thousands of millions, and let your seed possess the gate of those which hate them. And Ribekah arose, and her damsels, and they rode upon the camels, and followed the man. And the servant took Ribekah, and went his way. And Yitzhak came from the way of the well, Ber Lachai Roi, for he dwelt in the south country. And Yitzhak went out to meditate in the field at the eventide. And he lifted up his eyes, and saw, and behold, the camels were coming. And Ribekah lifted up her eyes. When she saw Yitzhak, she lighted off the camel. For she had said unto the servant, What man is this that walks in the field to meet us? And the servant had said, It is my master. Therefore she took a veil, and covered herself. And the servant told Yitzhak all these things that he had done. And Yitzhak brought her into his mother Sarah's tent, and took Ribekah, and she became his wife. And he loved her. And Yitzhak was comforted after his mother's death. Chapter 25. Then again Abraham took a wife, and her name was Keturah. And she bare him Zimram, and Yokshan, and Medan, and Midian, and Yishbak, and Shua. And Yokshan begat Sheba, and Dedan. And the sons of Dedan were Ashuri, and Letushim, and Leumim. And the sons of Midian, Ephah, Epher, Hanok, and Abidah, and Eldaah. All these were the children of Keturah. And Abraham gave all that he had unto Yitzhak. But unto the sons of the concubines which Abraham had, Abraham gave gifts, and sent them away from Yitzhak's son, while he yet lived, eastward unto the east country. And these are the days of the years of Abraham's life which he lived, 160 years. Then Abraham gave up the ghost, and died in a good old age, an old man and full of years, and was gathered to his people. And his sons Yitzhak and Ishmael buried him in the cave of Machpelah, in the field of Ephron, the son of Tzohar, and the Heti which is before Mamre. The field which Abraham purchased of the sons of Heth, there was Abraham buried, and Sarah his wife. And it came to pass after the death of Abraham, that Elohim blessed his son Yitzhak, and Yitzhak dwelled by the well Ber Lachai Roi. Now these are the generations of Ishmael, Abraham's son, whom Hagar the Mitzri, Sarah's handmaid, bare unto Abraham. And these are the names of the sons of Ishmael by their names according to their generations. The firstborn of Ishmael, Nebaioth, and Kedar, and Adbeel, and Mibsam, and Mishma, and Duma, and Massa, Chadar, and Tema, Yetur, Naphish, Kedemah. These are the sons of Ishmael, and these are their names, by their towns and by their castles, 12 princes according to their nations. And these are the years of the life of Ishmael, 137 years. And he gave up the ghost and died, and was gathered unto his people. And they dwelt from Havilah unto Shur, that is before Mitzrayim, as you go toward Ashur. And he died in the presence of all his brethren. And these are the generations of Yitzhak, Abraham's son. Abraham begat Yitzhak. And Yitzhak was 40 years old when he took Ribkah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel of Arami, of Padan Aram, the sister of Laban the Arami. And Yitzhak entreated Yahuah for his wife, because she was barren. And Yahuah was entreated of him, and Ribkah his wife conceived. And the children struggled together within her. And she said, If it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of Yahuah. And Yahuah said unto her, 2 nations are in your womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from your bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red, all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel. And his name was called Yaakov, and Yitzhak was 80 years old when she bare them. And the boys grew. And Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field. And Yaakov was a plain man, dwelling in tents. And Yitzhak loved Esau, because he did eat of his venison. But Ribkah loved Yaakov. And Yaakov sawed pottage. And Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Yaakov, Feed me, I pray you, with that same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore his name was called Edom. And Yaakov said, Sell me this day your birthright. And Esau said, Behold, I am at the point to die, and what profit shall this birthright do to me? And Yaakov said, Swear to me this day. And he swore unto him, and he sold his birthright unto Yaakov. Then Yaakov gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink, and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. Chapter 26. And there was a famine in the land, beside the first famine that was in the days of Abraham. And Yitzhak went unto Abimelech, king of the Paleshti, unto Gerar. And Yahuah appeared unto him, and said, Go not down into Mitzrayim, dwell in the land which I shall tell you of. Sojourn in this land, and I will be with you, and will bless you. For unto you and unto your seed I will give all these countries, and I will perform the oath which I swore unto Abraham your father. And I will make your seed to multiply as the stars of the heaven, and will give unto your seed all these countries, and in your seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed. Because that Abraham obeyed my voice, and kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws. And Yitzhak dwelt in Gerar. And the men of the place asked him of his wife. And he said, She is my sister, for he feared to say, She is my wife, lest, said he, the men of the place should kill me for Ribkah, because she was fair to look upon. And it came to pass, when he had been there a long time, that Abimelech, king of the Paleshti, looked out at a window, and saw, and behold, Yitzhak was sporting with Ribkah his wife. And Abimelech called Yitzhak, and said, Behold, of a surety, she is your wife. And how said you, She is my sister? And Yitzhak said unto him, Because I said, Lest I die for her. And Abimelech said, What is this you have done unto us? One of the people might lightly have leaned with your wife, and you should have brought guiltiness upon us. And Abimelech charged all his people, saying, He that touches this man or his wife shall surely be put to death. Then Yitzhak sowed in that land, and received in the same year 100-fold, and Yahuah blessed him. And the man waxed great, and went forward, and grew until he became very great. For he had possession of flocks, and possession of herds, and great store of servants, and the Paleshti envied him. For all the wells which his father's servants had dug in the days of Abraham his father, the Pelishti had stopped them, and filled them with earth. And Abimelech said unto Yitzhak, Go from us, for you are much mightier than we. And Yitzhak departed thence, and pitched his tent in the valley of Gerar, and dwelt there. And Yitzhak dug again the wells of water, which they had dug in the days of Abraham his father, for the Pelishti had stopped them after the death of Abraham, and he called their names after the names by which his father had called them. And Yitzhak's servants dug in the valley, and found there a well of springing water. And the herdsmen of Gerar did strive with Yitzhak's herdsmen, saying, The water is ours. And he called the name of the well Esek, because they strove with him. And they dug another well, and strove for that also, and he called the name of it Sitnah. And he removed from thence, and dug another well, and for that they strove not, and he called the name of it Rehoboth. And he said, For now Yahuah has made room for us, and we shall be fruitful in the land. And he went up from thence to Beersheba, and Yahuah appeared unto him the same night, and said, I am the Elohim of Abraham your father. Fear not, for I am with you, and will bless you, and will multiply your seed for my servant Abraham's sake. And he built an altar there, and called upon the name of Yahuah, and pitched his tent there. And there Yitzhak's servants dug a well. Then Abimelech went to him from Gerar, and Ahuzath one of his friends, and Pichol the chief captain of his army. And Yitzhak said unto them, Wherefore come you to me, seeing you hate me, and have sent me away from you? And they said, We saw certainly that Yahuah was with you. And we said, Let there be now an oath betwixt us, even betwixt us and you, and let us make a covenant with you, that ye will do us no hurt, as we have not touched you, and as we have done unto you nothing but good, and have sent you away in peace. You are now the blessed of Yahuah. And he made them a feast, and they did eat and drink. And they rose up betimes in the morning, and swore one to another. And Yitzhak sent them away, and they departed from him in peace. And it came to pass the same day that Yitzhak's servants came and told him concerning the well which they had dug, and said unto him, We have found water. And he called it Sheba. Therefore the name of the city is Beersheba unto this day. And Esau was 40 years old when he took to wife Yehudith, the daughter of Beeri the Hittite, and Basmath, the daughter of Elon the Hittite, which were a grief of mind unto Yitzhak and to Ribkah. Chapter 27. And it came to pass that when Yitzhak was old, and his eyes were dim, so that he could not see, he called Esau his eldest son, and said unto him, My son? And he said unto him, Behold, here am I. And he said, Behold now, I am old, I know not the day of my death. Now therefore take, I pray you, your weapons, your quiver and your bow, and go out to the field, and take me some venison, and make me a savory meat, such as I love, and bring it to me, that I may eat, that my soul may bless you before I die. And Ribkah heard when Yitzhak spoke to Esau his son, and Esau went to the field to hunt for venison, and to bring it. And Ribkah spoke unto Jacob her son, saying, Behold, I heard your father speak unto Esau your brother, saying, Bring me venison, and make me savory meat, that I may eat, and bless you before Yahuah, before my death. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice according to that which I command you. Go now to the flock, and fetch me from thence 2 good kids of the goats, and I will make them savory meat for your father, such as he loves. And you shall bring it to your father, that he may eat, and that he may bless you before his death. And Jacob said to Ribkah his mother, Behold, Esau my brother is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man. My father peradventure will feel me, and I shall seem to him as a deceiver, and I shall bring a curse upon me, and not a blessing. And his mother said unto him, Upon me be your curse, my son. Only obey my voice, and go fetch me them. And he went, and fetched, and brought them to his mother. And his mother made savory meat, such as his father loved. And Ribkah took goodly raiment of her eldest son Esau, which were with her in the house, and put them upon Jacob her younger son. And she put the skins of the kids of the goats upon his hands, and upon the smooth of his neck, And she gave the savory meat and the bread which she had prepared into the hand of her son Yaakov. And he came unto his father and said, My father. And he said, Here am I. Who are you, my son? And Yaakov said unto his father, I am Esau, your firstborn. I have done according to as you told me. Arise, I pray you, sit and eat of my venison, that your soul may bless me. And Yitzchak said unto his son, How is it that you have found it so quickly, my son? And he said, Because Yahuah your Elohim brought it to me. And Yitzchak said unto Yaakov, Come near, I pray you, that I may feel you, my son, whether you be my very son Esau or not. And Yaakov went near unto Yitzchak his father, and he felt him, and said, The voice is Yaakov's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau. And he discerned him not, because his hands were hairy as his brother Esau's hands. So he blessed him. And he said, Are you my very son Esau? And he said, I am. And he said, Bring it near to me, and I will eat of my son's venison, that my soul may bless you. And he brought it near to him, and he did eat. And he brought him wine, and he drank. And his father Yitzchak said unto him, Come near now, and kiss me, my son. And he came near, and kissed him. And he smelled the smell of his raiment, and blessed him, and said, See, the smell of my son is as the smell of the field which Yahuah has blessed. Therefore Elohim give you of the dew of the heaven, and the fatness of the earth, and plenty of corn and wine. Let people serve you, and nations bow down to you. Be lord over your brethren, and let your mother's sons bow down to you. Cursed be every one that curses you, and blessed be he that blesses you. And it came to pass, as soon as Yitzchak had made an end of blessing Yaakov, and Yaakov was yet scarce gone out from the presence of Yitzchak his father, that Esau his brother came in from his hunting. And he also had made savory meat, and brought it unto his father, and said unto his father, Let my father arise, and eat of his son's venison, that your soul may bless me. And Yitzchak his father said unto him, Who are you? And he said, I am your son, your firstborn Esau. And Yitzchak trembled very exceedingly, and said, Who? Where is he that has taken venison, and brought it me? And I have eaten of all before you came, and have blessed him. Yea, and he shall be blessed. And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried out with a great and exceeding bitter cry, and said unto his father, Bless me, even me also, O my father. And he said, Your brother came with subtlety, and has taken away your blessing. And he said, Is not he rightly named Yaakov? For he has supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and behold, now he has taken away my blessing. And he said, Have you not reserved a blessing for me? And Yitzchak answered and said unto Esau, Behold, I have made him your lord, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants, and with corn and wine have I sustained him. And what shall I do now unto you, my son? And Esau said unto his father, Have you but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Yitzchak his father answered and said unto him, Behold, your dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and the dew of the heaven from above. And by your sword shall you live, and shall serve your brother. And it shall come to pass, when you shall have the dominion, that you shall break his yoke from off your neck. And Esau hated Yaakov because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, The days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Yaakov. And these words of Esau, her elder son, were told to Ribkah. And she sent and called to Yaakov her younger son, and said unto him, Behold, your brother Esau, as touching you, does comfort himself, purposing to kill you. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice. Arise, flee you to Laban my brother in Haran, and tarry with him a few days, until your brother's fury turn away, until your brother's anger turn away from you, and he forget that which you have done to him. Then I will send and fetch you from thence. Why should I be deprived also of you both in one day? And Ribkah said to Yitzchak, I am weary of my life because of the daughters of Heth. If Yaakov take a wife of the daughters of Heth, such as these which are of the daughters of the land, what good shall my life do me? Chapter 28. And Yitzchak called Yaakov and blessed him, and charged him, and said unto him, You shall not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan. Arise, go to Padan Aram, to the house of Bethuel your mother's father, and take you a wife from thence of the daughters of Laban your mother's brother. And El Shaddai bless you, and make you fruitful and multiply you, that you may be a multitude of people. And give you the blessing of Abraham to you, and to your seed with you, that you may inherit the land wherein you are a stranger, which Elohim gave unto Abraham. And Yitzchak sent away Yaakov, and he went to Padan Aram, unto Laban, son of Bethuel the Aramee, the brother of Ribkah, Yaakov's and Esau's mother. When Esau saw that Yitzchak had blessed Yaakov, and sent him away to Padan Aram, to take him a wife from thence, and that as he blessed him, he gave him a charge, saying, You shall not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan. And that Yaakov obeyed his father and his mother, and was gone to Padan Aram. And Esau, seeing that the daughters of Canaan pleased not Yitzchak's father, then went Esau unto Ishmael, and took unto the wives which he had, Mahalath, the daughter of Ishmael, Abraham's son, the sister of Nebaioth, to be his wife. And Yaakov went out from Beersheba, and went toward Haran. And he lighted upon a certain place, and tarried there all night, because the sun was set. And he took of the stones of that place, and put them for his pillows, and lay down in that place to sleep. And he dreamed, and behold, a ladder set up on the earth, and the top of it reached to heaven. And behold, the angels of Elohim ascending and descending on it. And behold, Yahuah stood above it, and said, I am Yahuah Elohim of Abraham your father, and Elohim of Yitzchak, the land whereon you lie. To you will I give it, and to your seed. And your seed shall be as the dust of the earth, and ye shall spread abroad to the west, and to the east, and to the north, and to the south. And in you and in your seed shall all families of the earth be blessed. And behold, I am with you, and will keep you in all places whither you go, and will bring you again into this land. For I will not leave you, until I have done that which I have spoken to you of. And Yaakov awakened out of his sleep, and he said, Surely Yahuah is in this place, and I knew it not. And he was afraid, and said, How dreadful is this place! This is none other but the house of Elohim, and this is the gate of heaven. And Yaakov rose up early in the morning, and took the stone that he had put for his pillows, and set it up for a pillar, and poured oil upon the top of it. And he called the name of that place Bethel, but the name of that city was called Luz at first. And Yaakov vowed a vow, saying, If Elohim will be with me, and will keep me in this way that I go, and will give me bread to eat, and raiment to put on, so that I come again to my father's house in peace, then shall Yahuah be my Elohim. And this stone which I have set for a pillar shall be Elohim's house, and of all that ye shall give me I will surely give the tenth unto you. Chapter 29. Then Yaakov went on his journey, and came into the land of the people of the east. And he looked, and behold, a well in the field. And lo, there were 3 flocks of sheep lying by it. For out of that well they watered the flocks. And a great stone was upon the well's mouth. And thither were all the flocks gathered. And they rolled the stone from the well's mouth, and watered the sheep, and put the stone again upon the well's mouth in its place. And Yaakov said unto them, My brethren, whence be you? And they said, Of Haran are we. And he said unto them, Know you Laban the son of Nahor? And they said, We know him. And he said unto them, Is he well? And they said, He is well. Behold, Rachel his daughter comes with the sheep. And he said, Lo, it is yet high day, neither is it time that the cattle should be gathered together. Water you the sheep, and go and feed them. And they said, We cannot, until all the flocks be gathered together, and till they roll the stone from the well's mouth, then we water the sheep. And while he yet spoke with them, Rachel came with her father's sheep, for she kept them. And it came to pass, when Yaakov saw Rachel, the daughter of Laban his mother's brother, and the sheep of Laban his mother's brother, that Yaakov went near, and rolled the stone from the well's mouth, and watered the flock of Laban his mother's brother. And Yaakov kissed Rachel, and lifted up his voice, and wept. And Yaakov told Rachel that he was her father's brother, and that he was Ribkah's son. And she ran and told her father. And it came to pass, when Laban heard the tidings of Yaakov, his sister's son, that he ran to meet him, and embraced him, and kissed him, and brought him to his house. And he told Laban all these things. And Laban said to him, Surely you are bone of my flesh. And he abode with him the space of a month. And Laban said to Yaakov, Because you are my brother, should you therefore serve me for naught? Tell me, what shall your wages be? And Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the elder was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. Leah was tender-eyed, but Rachel was beautiful and well-favored. And Yaakov loved Rachel, and said, I will serve you 7 years for Rachel your younger daughter. And Laban said, It is better that I give her to you than that I should give her to another man. Abide with me. And Yaakov served 7 years for Rachel, and it seemed unto him but a few days for the love he had to her. And Yaakov said unto Laban, Give me my wife, for my days are fulfilled, that I may go in unto her. And Laban gathered together all the men of the place, and made a feast. And it came to pass in the evening that he took Leah his daughter, and brought her to him, and he went in unto her. And Laban gave unto his daughter Leah Zilpah his maid for a handmaid. And it came to pass that in the morning, behold, it was Leah. And he said to Laban, What is this you have done unto me? Did I not serve with you for Rachel? Wherefore then have you beguiled me? And Laban said, It must not be so done in our country, to give the younger before the firstborn. Fulfill her week, and we will give you this also for the service which you shall serve me yet 7 other years. And Yaakov did so, and fulfilled her week. And he gave him Rachel his daughter to wife also. And Laban gave to Rachel his daughter Bilhah his handmaid to be her maid. And he went in also unto Rachel, and he loved also Rachel more than Leah, and served with him yet 7 other years. And when Yahuah saw that Leah was hated, he opened her womb, but Rachel was barren. And Leah conceived and bare a son, and she called his name Reuben, for she said, Surely Yahuah has looked upon my affliction. Now therefore my husband will love me. And she conceived again, and bare a son, and said, Because Yahuah has heard I was hated, he has therefore given me this son also. And she called his name Shimon. And she conceived again, and bare a son, and said, Now this time will my husband be joined unto me, because I have borne him 3 sons. Therefore was his name called Leuah. And she conceived again, and bare a son. And she said, Now I will praise Yahuah. Therefore she called his name Yehudah, and left bearing. Chapter 30. And when Rachel saw that she bare Yaakov no children, Rachel envied her sister, and said unto Yaakov, Give me children, or else I die. And Yaakov's anger was kindled against Rachel. And he said, Am I in Elohim's stead? Who has withheld from you the fruit of the womb? And she said, Behold, my maid Bilhah. Go in unto her, and she shall bear upon my knees, that I may also have children by her. And she gave him Bilhah her handmaid to wife, and Yaakov went in unto her. And Bilhah conceived, and bare Yaakov a son. And Rachel said, Elohim has judged me, and has also heard my voice, and has given me a son. Therefore called she his name Dan. And Bilhah, Rachel's maid, conceived again, and bare Yaakov a second son. And Rachel said, With great wrestlings have I wrestled with my sister, and I have prevailed, and she called his name Naphtali. When Leah saw that she had left bearing, she took Zilpah her maid, and gave her Yaakov to wife. And Zilpah, Leah's maid, bare Yaakov a son. And Leah said, A troop comes, and she called his name Gad. And Zilpah, Leah's maid, bare Yaakov a second son. And Leah said, Happy am I, for the daughters will call me blessed. And she called his name Asher. And Reuben went in the days of wheat harvest, and found mandrakes in the field, and brought them unto his mother Leah. Then Rachel said to Leah, Give me, I pray you, of your son's mandrakes. And she said unto her, Is it a small matter that you have taken my husband? And would you take away my son's mandrakes also? And Rachel said, Therefore he shall lie with you tonight for your son's mandrakes. And Yaakov came out of the field in the evening, and Leah went out to meet him, and said, You must come in unto me, for surely I have hired you with my son's mandrakes. And he lay with her that night. And Elohim hearkened unto Leah, and she conceived, and bare Yaakov a fifth son. And Leah said, Elohim has given me my hire, because I have given my maiden to my husband. And she called his name Yisachar. And Leah conceived again, and bare Yaakov the sixth son. And Leah said, Elohim has endued me with a good dowry. Now will my husband dwell with me, because I have borne him 6 sons. And she called his name Zebulun. And afterward she bare a daughter, and called her name Dinah. And Elohim remembered Rachel, and Elohim hearkened to her, and opened her womb. And she conceived, and bare a son, and said, Elohim has taken away my reproach. And she called his name Joseph, and said, Yahuah shall add to me another son. And it came to pass, when Rachel had borne Joseph, that Yaakov said unto Laban, Send me away, that I may go unto mine own place, and to my country. Give me my wives and my children, for whom I have served you, and let me go, for you know my service which I have done you. And Laban said unto him, I pray you, if I have found favor in your eyes, tarry, for I have learned by experience that Yahuah has blessed me for your sake. And he said, Appoint me your wages, and I will give it. And he said unto him, You know how I have served you, and how your cattle was with me. For it was little which you had before I came, and it is now increased unto a multitude, and Yahuah has blessed you since my coming. And now, when shall I provide for mine own house also? And he said, What shall I give you? And Yaakov said, You shall not give me anything. If you will do this thing for me, I will again feed and keep your flock. I will pass through all the flock today, removing from thence all the speckled and spotted cattle, and all the brown cattle among the sheep, and the spotted and speckled among the goats, and of such shall be my hire. So shall my righteousness answer for me in time to come, when it shall come for my hire before your face every one that is not speckled and spotted among the goats, and brown among the sheep, that shall be counted stolen with me. And Laban said, Behold, I would it might be according to your word. And he removed that day the he-goats that were rings raked and spotted, and all the she-goats that were speckled and spotted, and every one that had some white on it, and all the brown among the sheep, and gave them into the hand of his sons. And he set 3 days' journey betwixt himself and Yaakov, and Yaakov fed the rest of Laban's flocks. And Yaakov took him rods of green poplar, and of the hazel and chestnut tree, and pilled white strakes in them, and made the white appear which was in the rods. And he set the rods which he had pilled before the flocks in the gutters in the watering troughs when the flocks came to drink, that they should conceive when they came to drink. And the flocks conceived before the rods, and brought forth cattle rings raked, speckled, and spotted. And Yaakov did separate the lambs, and set the faces of the flocks toward the rings raked, and all the brown in the flock of Laban. And he put his own flocks by themselves, and put them not unto Laban's cattle. And it came to pass, whensoever the stronger cattle did conceive, that Yaakov laid the rods before the eyes of the cattle in the gutters, that they might conceive among the rods. But when the cattle were feeble, he put them not in. So the feebler were Laban's, and the stronger Yaakov's. And the man increased exceedingly, and had much cattle, and maidservants, and menservants, and camels, and asses. Chapter 31. And he heard the words of Laban's sons, saying, Yaakov has taken away all that was our father's, and of that which was our father's has he gotten all this glory. And Yaakov beheld the countenance of Laban, and behold, it was not toward him as before. And Yahuah said unto Yaakov, Return unto the land of your fathers, and to your kindred, and I will be with you. And Yaakov sent and called Rachel and Leah to the field unto his flock, and said unto them, I see your father's countenance, that it is not toward me as before, but Elohim of my father has been with me. And you know that with all my power I have served your father. And your father hath deceived me, and changed my wages 10 times, but Elohim suffered him not to hurt me. If he said thus, The speckled shall be your wages, then all the cattle bear speckled. And if he said thus, The rings raked shall be your hire, then bear all the cattle rings raked. Thus Elohim has taken away the cattle of your father, and given them to me. And it came to pass, at the time that the cattle conceived, that I lifted up mine eyes, and saw in a dream, and behold, the rams which leaped upon the cattle were rings raked, speckled, and grizzled. And the angel of Elohim spoke unto me in a dream, saying, Yaakov. And I said, Here am I. And he said, Lift up now your eyes, and see, all the rams which leap upon the cattle are rings raked, speckled, and grizzled. For I have seen all that Laban does unto you. I am the El of Bethel, where you anointed the pillar, and where you vowed a vow unto me. Now, arise, get you out from this land, and return unto the land of your kindred. And Rachel and Leah answered and said unto him, Is there yet any portion or inheritance for us in our father's house? Are we not counted of him strangers? For he has sold us, and has quite devoured also our money. For all the riches which Elohim has taken from our father, that is ours, and our children's. Now then, whatsoever Elohim has said unto you, do. Then Yaakov rose up, and set his sons and his wives upon camels, and he carried away all his cattle, and all his goods which he had gotten, the cattle of his getting, which he had gotten in Padam Aram, for to go to Yitzhak his father in the land of Canaan. And Laban went to shear his sheep, and Rachel had stolen the images that were her father's. And Yaakov stole away unawares to Laban the Amorite, in that he told him not that he fled. So he fled with all that he had, and he rose up and passed over the river, and set his face toward the Mount Gilead. And it was told Laban on the 3rd day that Yaakov was fled. And he took his brethren with him, and pursued after him 7 days' journey, and they overtook him in the Mount Gilead. And Elohim came to Laban the Aramite in a dream by night, and said unto him, Take heed that you speak not to Yaakov either good or bad. Then Laban overtook Yaakov. Now Yaakov had pitched his tent in the mount, and Laban with his brethren pitched in the mount of Gilead. And Laban said to Yaakov, What have you done, that you have stolen away unawares to me, and carried away my daughters as captives taken with the sword? Wherefore did you flee away secretly, and steal away from me, and did not tell me, that I might have sent you away with mirth, and with songs, with tabret, and with harp, and have not suffered me to kiss my sons and my daughters? You have now done foolishly in so doing. It is in the power of my hand to do you hurt. But the Elohim of your father spoke unto me yesternight, saying, Take you heed that you speak not to Yaakov either good or bad. And now, though you would needs be gone, because you sore longed after your father's house, yet wherefore have you stolen my gods? And Yaakov answered and said to Laban, Because I was afraid, for I said, Peradventure you would take by force your daughters from me. With whomsoever you find your gods, let him not live. Before our brethren discern you what is yours with me, and take it to you. For Yaakov knew not that Rachel had stolen them. And Laban went into Yaakov's tent, and into Leah's tent, and into the 2 maidservants' tent, but he found them not. Then he went out of Leah's tent, and into Rachel's tent. Now Rachel had taken the images, and put them in the camel's furniture, and sat upon them. And Laban searched all the tent, but found them not. And she said unto her father, Let it not displease my lord that I cannot rise up before you, for the custom of women is upon me. And he searched, but found not the images. And Yaakov was wroth, and chode with Laban. And Yaakov answered and said to Laban, What is my trespass? What is my sin that you have so hotly pursued after me? Whereas you have searched all my stuff, what have you found of all your household stuff? Set it here before my brethren and your brethren, that they may judge betwixt us both. This 20 years have I been with you. Your ewes and your she-goats have not cast their young, and the rams of your flock have I not eaten. That which was torn of beast I brought not unto you. I bear the loss of it. Of my hand did you require it, whether stolen by day or stolen by night. Thus I was. In the day the drought consumed me, and the frost by night, and my sleep departed from mine eyes. Thus I have been 20 years in your house. I served you 14 years for your 2 daughters, and 6 years for your cattle, and you have changed my wages 10 times. Except the Elohim of my father, the Elohim of Abraham, and the fear of Yitzhak had been with me, surely you had sent me away now empty. Elohim has seen mine affliction and the labor of my hands, and rebuked you yesternight. And Laban answered and said unto Yaakov, These daughters are my daughters, and these children are my children, and these cattle are my cattle, and all that you see is mine. And what can I do this day unto these my daughters, or unto their children which they have borne? Now therefore come you, let us make a covenant, I and you, and let it be for a witness between me and you. And Yaakov took a stone, and set it up for a pillar. And Yaakov said to his brethren, Gather stones. And they took stones, and made a heap, and they did eat there upon the heap. And Laban called it Yagar Sahadutha, but Yaakov called it Gilead. And Laban said, This heap is a witness between me and you this day. Therefore was the name of it called Gilead, and Mitzpah. For he said, Yahuah, watch between me and you, when we are absent one from another. If you shall afflict my daughters, or if you shall take other wives beside my daughters, no man is with us. See, Elohim is witness betwixt me and you. And Laban said to Yaakov, Behold this heap, and behold this pillar which I have cast betwixt me and you. This heap be witness, and this pillar be witness, that I will not pass over this heap to you, and that you shall not pass over this heap and this pillar unto me for harm. The Elohim of Abraham and the Elohim of Nahor, the Elohim of their father, judge betwixt us. And Yaakov swore by the fear of his father Yitzhak. Then Yaakov offered sacrifice upon the mount, and called his brethren to eat bread. And they did eat bread, and tarried all night in the mount. And early in the morning Laban rose up, and kissed his sons and his daughters, and blessed them. And Laban departed, and returned unto his place. Chapter 32. And Yaakov went on his way, and the angels of Elohim met him. And when Yaakov saw them, he said, This is Elohim's host, and he called the name of that place Machanaim. And Yaakov sent messengers before him to Esau his brother, unto the land of Seir, the country of Edom. And he commanded them, saying, Thus shall you speak unto my lord Esau. Your servant Yaakov said thus, I have sojourned with Laban, and stayed there until now. I have oxen and asses, flocks and men servants and women servants, and I have sent to tell my lord that I may find grace in your sight. And the messengers returned to Yaakov, saying, We came to your brother Esau, and he also comes to meet you, and 400 men with him. Then Yaakov was greatly afraid and distressed, and he divided the people that was with him, and the flocks and herds and the camels into 2 bands, and said, If Esau come to the one company and smite it, then the other company which is left shall escape. And Yaakov said, O Elohim of my father Abraham, and Elohim of my father Yitzhak, Yahuah, which said unto me, Return unto your country and to your kindred, and I will deal well with you. I am not worthy of the least of all mercies and of all the truth, which you have showed unto your servant. For with my staff I passed over this Yarden, and now I am become two bands. Deliver me, I pray you, from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esau. For I fear him, lest he will come and smite me and the mother with the children. And you said, I will surely do you good, and make your seed as the sand of the sea, which cannot be numbered for multitude. And he lodged there that same night, and took of that which came to his hand a present for Esau his brother, 200 she-goats, and 20 he-goats, 200 ewes, and 20 rams, 30 milk camels with their colts, 40 kine, and 10 bulls, 20 she-asses, and 10 foals. And he delivered them into the hand of his servants, every drove by themselves, and said unto his servants, Pass over before me, and put a space betwixt drove and drove. And he commanded the foremost, saying, When Esau my brother meets you, and asks you, saying, Whose are you? And whither go you? And whose are these before you? Then you shall say, These be your servant Jacob's. It is a present sent unto my lord Esau, and behold, also he is behind us. And so commanded he the second, and the third, and all that followed the droves, saying, On this manner shall you speak unto Esau when you find him. And say you, moreover, Behold, your servant Jacob is behind us. For he said, I will appease him with the present that goes before me, and afterward I will see his face, peradventure he will accept of me. So went the present over before him, and himself lodged that night in the company. And he rose up that night, and took his 2 wives, and his 2 women servants, and his 11 sons, and passed over the ford Jabbok. And he took them, and sent them over the brook, and sent over that he had. And Jacob was left alone, and there wrestled a man with him until the breaking of the day. And when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint as he wrestled with him. And he said, Let me go, for the day breaks. And he said, I will not let you go, except you bless me. And he said unto him, What is your name? And he said, Jacob. And he said, Your name shall be called no more Jacob, but Yasharel. For as a prince have you power with Elohim, and with men, and have prevailed. And Jacob asked him, and said, Tell me, I pray you, your name. And he said, Wherefore is it that you do ask after my name? And he blessed him there. And Jacob called the name of the place Penuel, for I have seen Elohim face to face, and my life is preserved. And as he passed over Penuel, the sun rose upon him, and he halted upon his thigh. Therefore the children of Yisrael eat not of the sinew which shrank, which is upon the hollow of the thigh, unto this day, because he touched the hollow of Jacob's thigh in the sinew that shrank. Chapter 33. And Jacob lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, Esau came, and with him 400 men. And he divided the children unto Leah, and unto Rachel, and unto the 2 handmaids. And he put the handmaids and their children foremost, and Leah and her children after, and Rachel and Joseph hindermost. And he passed over before them, and bowed himself to the ground 7 times, until he came near to his brother. And Esau ran to meet him, and embraced him, and fell on his neck, and kissed him, and they wept. And he lifted up his eyes, and saw the women and the children, and said, Who are those with you? And he said, The children which Elohim has graciously given your servant. Then the handmaidens came near, and they and their children, and they bowed themselves. And Leah also with her children came near, and bowed themselves. And after came Joseph near, and Rachel, and they bowed themselves. And he said, What mean you by all this drove which I met? And he said, These are to find grace in the sight of my Lord. And Esau said, I have enough, my brother. Keep that you have unto yourself. And Jacob said, Nay, I pray you, if now I have found grace in your sight, then receive my present at my hand. For therefore I have seen your face, as though I had seen the face of Elohim, and you were pleased with me. Take, I pray you, my blessing that is brought to you, because Elohim has dealt graciously with me, and because I have enough. And he urged him, and he took it. And he said, Let us take our journey, and let us go, and I will go before you. And he said unto him, My Lord knows that the children are tender, and the flocks and herds with young are with me. And if men should overdrive them one day, all the flock will die. Let my Lord, I pray you, pass over before his servant, and I will lead on softly according as the cattle that goes before me, and the children be able to endure, until I come unto my Lord unto Seir. Esau said, Let me now leave with you some of the folk that are with me. And he said, What needs it? Let me find grace in the sight of my Lord. So Esau returned that day on his way unto Seir. And Jacob journeyed unto Succoth, and built him a house, and made booths for his cattle. Therefore the name of the place is called Succoth. And Jacob came to Shalem, a city of Shechem, which is in the land of Canaan, when he came from Padan Aram, and pitched his tent before the city. And he bought a parcel of a field, where he had spread his tent, at the hand of the children of Hamor, Shechem's father, for 100 pieces of money. And he erected there an altar, and called it El Elohai Yasharel. Chapter 34. And Dinah, the daughter of Leah, which she bare unto Jacob, went out to see the daughters of the land. And when Shechem, the son of Hamor the Yahuah, prince of the country, saw her, he took her, and lay with her, and defiled her. And his soul clave unto Dinah, the daughter of Jacob. And he loved the damsel, and spoke kindly unto the damsel. And Shechem spoke unto his father Hamor, saying, Get me this damsel to wife. And Jacob heard that he had defiled Dinah his daughter. Now his sons were with his cattle in the field, and Jacob held his peace until they were come. And Hamor the father of Shechem went out unto Jacob to commune with him. And the sons of Jacob came out of the field when they heard it, and the men were grieved, and they were very wroth, because he had wrought folly at Yasharel in line with Jacob's daughter, which thing ought not to have been done. And Hamor communed with them, saying, The soul of my son Shechem longs for your daughter. I pray you give her to him to wife. And make you marriages with us, and give your daughters unto us, and take our daughters unto you. And you shall dwell with us, and the land shall be before you. Dwell and trade you therein, and get you possessions therein. And Shechem said unto her father and unto her brethren, Let me find grace in your eyes, and what you shall say unto me I will give. Ask me never so much dowry and gift. I will give according as you shall say unto me. But give me the damsel to wife. And the sons of Jacob answered Shechem and Hamor his father deceitfully, and said, Because he had defiled Dinah their sister. And they said unto them, We cannot do this thing, to give our sister to one that is uncircumcised, for that were a reproach unto us. But in this we will consent unto you. If you will be as we, that every male of you be circumcised, then we will give our daughters unto you, and we will take your daughters to us, and we will dwell with you, and we will become one people. But if you will not hearken unto us to be circumcised, then we will take our daughter, and we will be gone. And their words pleased Hamor and Shechem, Hamor's son. And the young man deferred not to do the thing, because he had delight in Jacob's daughter, and he was more honorable than all the house of his father. And Hamor and Shechem his son came unto the gate of their city, and communed with the men of their city, saying, These men are peaceable with us. Therefore let them dwell in the land, and trade therein. For the land, behold, it is large enough for them. Let us take their daughters to us for wives, and let us give them our daughters. Only herein will the men consent unto us for to dwell with us, to be one people, if every male among us is circumcised, as they are circumcised. Shall not their cattle and their substance and every beast of theirs be ours? Only let us consent unto them, and they will dwell with us. And unto Hamor and unto Shechem his son hearkened all that went out of the gate of his city, and every male was circumcised, and all that went out of the gate of his city. And it came to pass on the third day, when they were sore, that two of the sons of Jacob, Shimon and Leui, Dinah's brethren, took each man his sword, and came upon the city boldly, and slew all the males. And they slew Hamor and Shechem his son with the edge of the sword, and took Dinah out of Shechem's house, and went out. The sons of Yaakov came upon the slain, and spoiled the city, because they had defiled their sister. And they took their sheep, and their oxen, and their asses, and that which was in the city, and that which was in the field. And all their wealth, and all their little ones, and their wives they took captive, and spoiled even all that was in the house. And Yaakov said to Shimon and Leui, You have troubled me to make me stink among the inhabitants of the land, among the Canaani and the Perizzee. And I, being few in numbers, they shall gather themselves together against me, and slay me, and I shall be destroyed, I and my house. And they said, Should he deal with our sister as with a harlot? Chapter 35. And Elohim said unto Jacob, Arise, go up unto Bethel, and dwell there, and make there an altar unto El, that appeared unto you when you fled from the face of Esau your brother. Then Jacob said unto his household, and to all that were with him, Put away the strange gods that are among you, and be clean, and change your garments. And let us arise and go up to Bethel, and I will make there an altar unto El, who answered me in the day of my distress, and was with me in the way which I went. And they gave unto Jacob all the strange gods which were in their hand, and all their earrings which were in their ears, and Jacob hid them under the oak which was by Shechem. And they journeyed, and the terror of Elohim was upon the cities that were round about them, and they did not pursue after the sons of Jacob. So Jacob came to Luz, which is in the land of Canaan, that is, Bethel, he and all the people that were with him. And he built there an altar, and called the place El Bethel, because there Elohim appeared unto him when he fled from the face of his brother. But Deborah, Ribkah's nurse, died, and she was buried beneath Bethel under an oak, and the name of it was called Elam Bakuth. And Elohim appeared unto Jacob again, when he came out of Padan Aram, and blessed him. And Elohim said unto him, Your name is Jacob. Your name shall not be called any more Jacob, but Yashar'el shall be your name. And he called his name Yashar'el. And Elohim said unto him, I am El Shaddai. Be fruitful and multiply. A nation and a company of nations shall be of you, and kings shall come out of your loins. And the land which I gave Abraham and Yitzhak, to you I will give it, and to your seed after you will I give the land. And Elohim went up from him in the place where he talked with him. And Jacob set up a pillar in the place where he talked with him, even a pillar of stone. And he poured a drink offering thereon, and he poured oil thereon. And Jacob called the name of the place where Elohim spoke with him, Bethel. And they journeyed from Bethel, and there was but a little way to come unto Ephrath. And Rachel travailed, and she had hard labor. And it came to pass, when she was in hard labor, that the midwife said unto her, Fear not, ye shall have this son also. And it came to pass, as her soul was in departing, for she died, that she called his name Ben-Oni, but his father called him Benjamin. And Rachel died, and was buried in the way to Ephrath, which is Bethlehem. And Jacob set a pillar upon her grave, that is the pillar of Rachel's grave unto this day. And Yashar'el journeyed, and spread his tent beyond the tower of Migdal Eder. And it came to pass, when Yashar'el dwelt in that land, that Reuben went and lay with Bilhah his father's concubine, and Yashar'el heard it. Now the sons of Jacob were 12. The sons of Leah, Reuben, Jacob's firstborn, and Shimon, and Leui, and Yehudah, and Yissachar, and Zebulun. The sons of Rachel, Joseph, and Benjamin. And the sons of Bilhah, Rachel's handmaid, Dan and Naphtali. And the sons of Zilpah, Leah's handmaid, Gad and Asher. These are the sons of Jacob, which were born to him in Padan Aram. And Jacob came unto Yitzhak his father unto Mamre, into the city of Kiriath Arba, which is in Hebron, where Abraham and Yitzhak sojourned. And the days of Yitzhak were 180 years. And Yitzhak gave up the ghost, and died, and was gathered unto his people, being old and full of days. And his sons Esau and Jacob buried him. Chapter 36. Now these are the generations of Esau, who is Edom. Esau took his wives of the daughters of Canaan, Adah the daughter of Elon the Hittite, and Aholibamah the daughter of Anah the daughter of Zebon the Hewite, and Basmath Ishmael's daughter, sister of Nebaioth. And Adah bare unto Esau Eliphaz, and Basmath bare Ruel. And Oholibamah bare Yeush, and Yalam, and Korach. These are the sons of Esau, which were born unto him in the land of Canaan. And Esau took his wives, and his sons, and his daughters, and all the persons of his house, and his cattle, and all his beasts, and all his substance which he had got in the land of Canaan, and went into the country from the face of his brother Jacob. For their riches were more than they might dwell together, and the land wherein they were strangers could not bear them because of their cattle. Thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom. And these are the generations of Esau, the father of Edom, in Mount Seir. These are the names of Esau's sons: Eliphaz, the son of Adah, the wife of Esau; Ruel, the son of Basmath, the wife of Esau. And the sons of Eliphaz were Taman, Omar, Sepho, and Gatam, and Kenaz. And Timnah was concubine to Eliphaz, Esau's son, and she bare to Eliphaz Amalek. These were the sons of Adah, Esau's wife. And these are the sons of Ruel, Nakath, Zerach, Shammah, Mizah. These were the sons of Basmath, Esau's wife. And these were the sons of Oholibamah, the daughter of Anah, the daughter of Zebon, Esau's wife, and she bare to Esau Yeush, Yalam, and Korach. These were the dukes of the sons of Esau, sons of Eliphaz, the firstborn son of Esau: Duke Taman, Duke Omar, Duke Sepho, Duke Kenaz, Duke Korach, Duke Gatam, and Duke Amalek. These are the dukes that came of Eliphaz in the land of Edom. These were the sons of Adah. And these are the sons of Ruel, Esau's son: Duke Nakath, Duke Zerach, Duke Shammah, Duke Mizah. These are the dukes that came of Ruel in the land of Edom. These are the sons of Basmath, Esau's wife. And these are the sons of Oholibamah, Esau's wife: Duke Yeush, Duke Yalam, Duke Korach. These were the dukes that came of Oholibamah, the daughter of Anah, Esau's wife. These are the sons of Esau, who is Edom. And these are their dukes. These are the sons of Seir in the Hori, who inhabited the land: Lotan, Shobal, Zebon, and Anah, and Dishon, and Ezer, and Dishon. These are the dukes of the Hori, the children of Seir in the land of Edom. And the children of Lotan were Hori and Haman, and Lotan's sister was Timnah. And the children of Shobal were these: Aluan, and Manachath, and Ibal, Shepho, and Onam. And these are the children of Zebon, both Ayah and Anah. This was that Anah that found the mules in the wilderness, as he fed the asses of Zebon his father. And the children of Anah were these: Dishon, and Oholibamah, the daughter of Anah. And these are the children of Dishon: Chemdan, and Eshban, and Yithran, and Karen. The children of Etzer are these: Bilhan, and Zaawan, and Akan. The children of Dishon are these: Uz and Aran. These are the dukes that came out of the Hori: Duke Lotan, Duke Shobal, Duke Zebon, Duke Anah, Duke Dishon, Duke Ezer, Duke Dishon. These are the dukes that came of Hori among the dukes of the land of Seir. And these are the kings that reigned in the land of Edom, before there reigned any king over the children of Yasharel. And Bela the son of Beor reigned in Edom, and the name of his city was Dinhabah. And Bela died, and Jobab the son of Zerach of Basra reigned in his stead. And Jobab died, and Husham of the land of Temanai reigned in his stead. And Husham died, And Hadad, the son of Bedad, who smote Midian in the field of Moab, reigned in his stead. And the name of his city was Awiwith. And Hadad died. And Samlah of Machrekah reigned in his stead. And Samlah died. And Shaul of Rehoboth by the river reigned in his stead. And Shaul died, and Baal-Hanan the son of Achbor reigned in his stead. And Baal-Hanan the son of Achbor died, and Hadar reigned in his stead. And the name of his city was Pau, and his wife's name was Mehetabel, the daughter of Matred, the daughter of Mezahab. And these are the names of the dukes that came of Esau, according to their families, after their places, by their names: Duke Timnah, Duke Yahuah, Duke Yetheth, Duke Oholibabah, Duke Elah, Duke Pinon, Duke Kenez, Duke Taman, Duke Mibzar, Duke Magdiel, Duke Eram. These be the dukes of Edom, according to their habitations in the land of their possession. He is Esau, the father of Edom. Chapter 37. And Jacob dwelt in the land wherein his father was a stranger, in the land of Canaan. These are the generations of Jacob. Joseph, being 17 years old, was feeding the flock with his brethren, and the lad was with the sons of Bilhah, and with the sons of Zilpah, his father's wives. And Joseph brought unto his father their evil report. Now Yasharel loved Joseph more than all his children, because he was the son of his old age, and he made him a coat of many colors. And when his brethren saw that their father loved him more than all his brethren, they hated him, and could not speak peaceably unto him. And Joseph dreamed a dream, and he told it his brethren, and they hated him yet the more. And he said unto them, Hear, I pray you, this dream which I have dreamed. For behold, we were binding sheaves in the field, and lo, my sheaf arose, and also stood upright. And behold, your sheaves stood round about, and made obeisance to my sheaf. And his brothers said to him, Shall you indeed reign over us? Or shall you indeed have dominion over us? And they hated him yet the more for his dreams and for his words. And he dreamed yet another dream, and told it his brethren, and said, Behold, I have dreamed a dream more. And behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars made obeisance to me. And he told it to his father, and to his brethren. And his father rebuked him, and said unto him, What is this dream that you have dreamed? Shall I and your mother and your brethren indeed come to bow down ourselves to you to the earth? And his brethren envied him, but his father observed the saying. And his brethren went to feed their father's flock in Shechem. And Yisrael said unto Joseph, Do not your brethren feed the flock in Shechem? Come, I will send you unto them. And he said to him, Here am I. And he said to him, Go, I pray you, see whether it be well with your brethren, and well with the flocks, and bring me word again. So he sent him out of the vale of Hebron, and came to Shechem. And a certain man found him, and behold, he was wandering in the field. And the man asked him, saying, What seek you? And he said, I seek my brethren. Tell me, I pray you, where they feed their flocks. And the man said, They are departed hence, for I heard them say, Let us go to Dothan. And Joseph went after his brethren, and found them in Dothan. And when they saw him afar off, even before he came near unto them, they conspired against him to slay him. And they said to one another, Behold, this dreamer comes. Come now, therefore, let us slay him, and cast him into some pit. And we will say, Some evil beast has devoured him, and we shall see what it will become of his dreams. And Reuben heard it, and he delivered him out of their hands, and said, Let us not kill him. And Reuben said unto them, Shed no blood, but cast him into this pit that is in the wilderness, and lay no hand upon him, that he might rid him out of their hands, to deliver him to his father again. And it came to pass, when Joseph was come unto his brethren, that they stripped Joseph out of his coat of many colors that was on him. And they took him, and cast him into a pit, and the pit was empty, there was no water in it. And they sat down to eat bread, and they lifted up their eyes and looked, and behold, a company of Ishmaeli came from Gilead with their camels bearing spicery and balm and myrrh, going to carry it down to Mitzrayim. And Yehudah said unto his brethren, What profit is it if we slay our brother and conceal his blood? Come, let us sell him to the Ishmaeli, and let not our hand be upon him, for he is our brother and our flesh. And his brethren were content. Then there passed by Midiani, the merchantmen, and they drew and lifted up Joseph out of the pit, and sold Joseph to the Ishmaeli for 20 pieces of silver, and they brought Joseph into Mitzrayim. And Reuben returned unto the pit, and behold, Joseph was not in the pit, and he rent his clothes. And he returned unto his brethren, and said, The child is not, and I, whither shall I go? And they took Joseph's coat, and killed a kid of the goats, and dipped the coat in the blood. And they sent the coat of many colors, and they brought it to their father, and said, This we have found. Know now whether it be your son's coat or no. And he knew it, and said, It is my son's coat. An evil beast has devoured him. Joseph is without doubt rent in pieces. And Jacob rent his clothes, and put sackcloth upon his loins, and mourned for his son many days. And all his sons and all his daughters rose up to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted. And he said, For I will go down into the grave unto my son mourning. Thus his father wept for him. And the Midianites sold him into Mitzrayim unto Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh's, and captain of the guard. Chapter 38. And it came to pass at that time that Yehudah went down from his brethren, and turned to a certain Adulami, whose name was Hirath. And Yehudah saw there a daughter of a certain Canaanite, whose name was Shua. And he took her, and went in unto her. And she conceived, and bare a son, and he called his name She conceived again, and bare a son, and she called his name Onan. And she yet again conceived, and bare a son, and called his name Shelah. And he was a Kezib when she bare him. And Yehudah took a wife for his firstborn, whose name was Tamar. And Yehudah's firstborn, was wicked in the sight of Yahuah, and Yahuah slew him. And Yehudah said unto Onan, Go in unto your brother's wife, and marry her, and raise up seed to your brother. And Onan knew that the seed should not be his, and it came to pass, when he went in unto his brother's wife, that he spilled it on the ground, lest he should give seed to his brother. And the thing which he did displeased Yahuah, therefore he slew him also. Then said Yehudah to Tamar his daughter-in-law, Remain a widow at your father's house, till Shelah my son be grown. For he said, Lest peradventure he die also, as his brethren did. And Tamar went and dwelled in her father's house. And in the process of time the daughter of Shua, Yehudah's wife, died. And Yehudah was comforted, and went up unto his sheep shearers to Timnah, he and his friend Shira the Adulami. And it was told Tamar, saying, Behold, your father-in-law goes up to Timnah to shear his sheep. And she put her widow's garments off from her, and covered her with a veil, and wrapped herself, and sat in an open place, which is by the way to Timnah. For she saw that Shelah was grown, and she was not given unto him to wife. When Yehudah saw her, he thought her to be a harlot, because she had covered her face. And he turned unto her by the way, and said, Go to, I pray you, let me come in unto you. For he knew not that she was his daughter-in-law. And she said, What will you give me, that you may come in unto me? And he said, I will send you a kid from the flock. And she said, Will you give me a pledge till you send it? And he said, What pledge shall I give you? And she said, Your signet, and your bracelets, and your staff that is in your hand. And he gave it her, and he came in unto her, and she conceived by him. And she arose and went away, and laid by her veil from her, and put on the garments of her widowhood. And Yehudah sent the kid by the hand of his friend the Adulami to receive his pledge from the woman's hand. But he found her not. Then he asked the men of that place, saying, Where is the harlot that was openly by the wayside? And they said, There was no harlot in this place. And he returned to Yehudah and said, I cannot find her. And also the men of the place said that there was no harlot in this place. And Yehudah said, Let her take it to her, lest we be shamed. Behold, I sent this kid, and you have not found her. And it came to pass about 3 months after that it was told Yehudah, saying, Tamar your daughter-in-law has played the harlot, and also, behold, she is with child by whoredom. And Yehudah said, Bring her forth, and let her be burnt. When she was brought forth, she sent to her father-in-law, saying, By the man whose these are am I with child. And she said, Discern, I pray you, whose are these, the signet, and bracelets, and staff? And Yehudah acknowledged them, and said, She has been more righteous than I, because that I gave her not to Shelah my son. And he knew her again no more. And it came to pass in the time of her travail, that, behold, twins were in her womb. And it came to pass, when she travailed, that one put out his hand, and the midwife took and bound upon his hand a scarlet thread, saying, This came out first. And it came to pass, as he drew back his hand, that, behold, his brother came out. And she said, Behold, how have you broken forth? This breach be upon you. Therefore his name was called Peretz. And afterward came out his brother that had the scarlet thread upon his hand, and his name was called Zerach. Chapter 39. And Yosef was brought down to Mitzrayim, and Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard, a Mitzri, bought him of the hands of the Ishmaeli, which had brought him down thither. And Yahuah was with Yosef, and he was a prosperous man, and he was in the house of his master the Mitzri. And his master saw that Yahuah was with him, and that Yahuah made all that he did to prosper in his hand. And Yosef found grace in his sight, and he served him, and he made him overseer over his house, and all that he had he put into his hand. And it came to pass, from the time that he had made him overseer in his house, and over all that he had, that Yahuah blessed the Mitzri's house for Yosef's sake. And the blessing of Yahuah was upon all that he had in the house and in the field. And he left all that he had in Yosef's hand. And he knew not aught he had, save bread which he did eat. And Yosef was a goodly person, and well favored. And it came to pass after these things, that his master's wife cast her eyes upon Yosef. And she said, Lie with me. But he refused, and said unto his master's wife, Behold, my master knows not what is with me in the house, and he has committed all that he has to my hand. There is none greater in this house than I, neither has he kept back anything from me but you, because you are his wife. How then can I do this great wickedness, and sin against Elohim? And it came to pass, as she spoke to Yosef day by day, that he hearkened not unto her, to lie by her, or to be with her. And it came to pass about this time, that Yosef went into the house to do his business, and there was none of the men of the house there within. And she caught him by his garment, saying, Lie with me. And he left his garment in her hand, and fled, and got him out. And it came to pass, when she saw that he had left his garment in her hand, and was fled forth, that she called unto the men of her house, and spoke unto them, saying, See, he has brought in an Hebrew unto us, to mock us. And he came in unto me to lie with me, and I cried with a loud voice. And it came to pass, when he heard it, that I lifted up my voice and cried, that he left his garment with me, and fled, and got him out. And she laid up his garment by her, until his lord came home. And she spoke unto him according to these words, saying, The Hebrew servant which you have brought unto us came in unto me to mock me. And it came to pass, as I lifted up my voice and cried, that he left his garment with me, and fled out. And it came to pass, when his master heard the words of his wife, which she spoke unto him, saying, After this manner did your servant to me, that his wrath was kindled. And Yosef's master took him, and put him into the prison, a place where the king's prisoners were bound, and he was there in the prison. But Yahuah was with Yosef, and showed him mercy, and gave him favor in the sight of the keeper of the prison. And the keeper of the prison committed to Yosef's hand all the prisoners that were in the prison, and whatsoever they did there, he was the doer of it. The keeper of the prison looked not to anything that was under his hand, because Yahuah was with him, and that which he did, Yahuah made it to prosper. Chapter 40. And it came to pass after these things that the butler of the king of Mitzrayim and his baker had offended their lord, the king of Mitzrayim. And Pharaoh was wroth against two of his officers, against the chief of the butlers, and against the chief of the bakers. And he put them in ward in the house of the captain of the guard, into the prison, the place where Joseph was bound. And the captain of the guard charged Joseph with them, and he served them, and they continued a season in ward. And they dreamed a dream, both of them, each man his dream in one night, each man according to the interpretation of his dream, the butler and the baker of the king of Mitzrayim, which were bound in the prison. And Joseph came in unto them in the morning, and looked upon them, and behold, they were sad. And he asked Pharaoh's officers that they were with him in the ward of his lord's house, saying, Wherefore look you so sadly today? And they said unto him, We have dreamed a dream, and there is no interpreter of it. And Joseph said unto them, Do not interpretations belong to Elohim? Tell me them, I pray you. And the chief butler told his dream to Joseph, and said to him, In my dream, behold, a vine was before me, and in the vine were 3 branches, and it was as though it budded, and her blossoms shot forth, and the clusters thereof brought forth ripe grapes. And Pharaoh's cup was in my hand, and I took the grapes, and pressed them into Pharaoh's cup, and I gave the cup into Pharaoh's hand. And Joseph said unto him, This is the interpretation of it. The 3 branches are 3 days. Yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up your head, and restore you unto your place, and you shall deliver Pharaoh's cup into his hand, after the former manner when you were his butler. But think on me when it shall be well with you, and show kindness, I pray you, unto me, and make mention of me unto Pharaoh, and bring me out of this house. For indeed I was stolen away out of the land of the Ibri, and here also have I done nothing that they should put me into the dungeon. When the chief baker saw that the interpretation was good, he said unto Joseph, I also was in a dream, and behold, I had 3 white baskets on my head. And in the uppermost basket there was all manner of baked meats for Pharaoh, and the birds did eat them out of the basket upon my head. And Joseph answered and said, This is the interpretation thereof. The 3 baskets are 3 days. Yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up your head from off you, and shall hang you on a tree, and the birds shall eat your flesh from off you. And it came to pass the 3rd day, which was Pharaoh's birthday, that he made a feast unto all his servants, and he lifted up the head of the chief butler and of the chief baker among his servants. And he restored the chief butler unto his butlership again, and he gave the cup into Pharaoh's hand. But he hanged the chief baker, as Joseph had interpreted to them. Yet did not the chief butler remember Joseph, but forgot him. Chapter 41. And it came to pass at the end of 2 full years that Pharaoh dreamed, and behold, he stood by the river. And behold, there came up out of the river 7 well-favored kine and fat-fleshed, and they fed in a meadow. And behold, 7 other kine came up after them out of the river, ill-favored and lean-fleshed, and stood by the other kine upon the brink of the river. And the ill-favored and lean-fleshed kine did eat up the 7 well-favored and fat kine. So Pharaoh awoke, and he slept, and dreamed the 2nd time. And behold, 7 ears of corn came up upon one stalk, rank and good. And behold, 7 thin ears, and blasted with the east wind, sprung up after them. And the 7 thin ears devoured the 7 rank and full ears. And Pharaoh awoke, and behold, it was a dream. And it came to pass in the morning that his spirit was troubled. And he sent and called for all the magicians of Mitzrayim, and all the wise men thereof. And Pharaoh told them his dream, but there was none that could interpret them unto Pharaoh. Then spoke the chief butler unto Pharaoh, saying, I do remember my faults this day. Pharaoh was wroth with his servants, and put me in ward in the captain of the guard's house, both me and the chief baker. And we dreamed a dream in one night, I and he. We dreamed each man according to the interpretation of his dream. And there was there with us a young man, an Ibri, servant to the captain of the guard. And we told him, and he interpreted to us our dreams. To each man according to his dream did he interpret. And it came to pass, as he interpreted to us, so it was. Me he restored unto mine office, and him he hanged. Then Pharaoh sent and called Joseph, and they brought him hastily out of the dungeon, and he shaved himself, and changed his raiment, and came in unto Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I have dreamed a dream, and there is none that can interpret it, and I have heard say of you that you can understand a dream to interpret it. And Joseph answered Pharaoh, saying, It is not in me. Elohim shall give Pharaoh an answer of peace. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, In my dream, behold, I stood upon the bank of the river, and behold, there came up out of the river 7 kine, fat-fleshed and well-favored, and they fed in a meadow. And behold, 7 other kine came up after them, poor and very ill-favored, and lean-fleshed, such as I never saw in all the land of Mitzrayim for badness. And the lean and the ill-favored kine did eat up the first 7 fat kine. And when they had eaten them up, it could not be known that they had eaten them, but they were still ill-favored, as at the beginning. So I awoke. And I saw in my dream, and behold, 7 ears came up in one stalk, full and good. And behold, 7 ears, withered, thin, and blasted with the east wind, sprung up after them. And the thin ears devoured the 7 good ears. And I told this unto the magicians, but there was none that could declare it to me. And Joseph said unto Pharaoh, The dream of Pharaoh is one. Elohim hath showed Pharaoh what he is about to do. The 7 good kine are 7 years, and the 7 good ears are 7 years. The dream is one. And the 7 thin and ill-favored kine that came up after them are 7 years. And the 7 empty ears blasted with the east wind shall be 7 years of famine. This is the thing which I have spoken unto Pharaoh. What Elohim is about to do, he shows unto Pharaoh. Behold, there come 7 years of great plenty throughout all the land of Mitzrayim. And there shall arise after them 7 years of famine, and all the plenty shall be forgotten in the land of Mitzrayim, and the famine shall consume the land. And the plenty shall not be known in the land by reason of that famine following, for it shall be very grievous. And for that the dream was doubled unto Pharaoh twice. It is because the thing is established by Elohim, and Elohim will shortly bring it to pass. Now therefore let Pharaoh look out at a man discreet and wise, and set him over the land of Mitzrayim. Let Pharaoh do this, and let him appoint officers over the land, and take up the 5th part of the land of Mitzrayim in the 7 plenteous years. And let them gather all the food of those good years that come, and lay up corn under the hand of Pharaoh, and let them keep food in the cities. And that food shall be for store to the land against the 7 years of famine, which shall be in the land of Mitzrayim, that the land perish not through the famine. And the thing was good in the eyes of Pharaoh, and in the eyes of all his servants. And Pharaoh said unto his servants, Can we find such a one as this, a man in whom the Ruach of Elohim is? And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, Forasmuch as Elohim has showed you all this, there is none so discreet and wise as you are. You shall be over my house, and according unto your word shall all my people be ruled. Only in the throne will I be greater than you. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, See, I have set you over all the land of Mitzrayim. And Pharaoh took off his ring from his hand, and put it upon Joseph's hand, and arrayed him in vestures of fine linen, and put a gold chain about his neck. And he made him to ride in the 2nd chariot which he had. And they cried before him, Bow the knee! And he made him ruler over all the land of Mitzrayim. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I am Pharaoh, and without you shall no man lift up his hand or foot in all the land of Mitzrayim. And Pharaoh called Joseph's name Tzaphnath-Paneach, and he gave to him to wife Asnath, the daughter of Potipherah, Cohen of On. And Joseph went out over all the land of Mitzrayim. And Joseph was 30 years old when he stood before Pharaoh, king of Mitzrayim. And Joseph went out from the presence of Pharaoh, and went throughout the land of Mitzrayim. And in the 7 plenteous years the earth brought forth by handfuls. And he gathered up all the food of the 7 years which were in the land of Mitzrayim, and laid up the food in the cities. The food of the field which was round about every city laid he up in the same. And Joseph gathered corn as the sand of the sea, very much until he left numbering, for it was without number. And unto Joseph were born 2 sons before the years of famine came, which Asnath, the daughter of Potipharah, Cohen of On, bare unto him. And Joseph called the name of the firstborn Manasseh. For Elohim, said he, has made me forget all my toil and all my father's house. And the name of the second called he Ephraim, for Elohim hath caused me to be fruitful in the land of my affliction. And the 7 years of plenteousness that was in the land of Mitzrayim were ended. And the 7 years of dearth began to come, according as Joseph had said. And the dearth was in all lands, but in all the land of Mitzrayim there was bread. And when all the land of Mitzrayim was famished, the people cried to Pharaoh for bread. And Pharaoh said unto all the Mitzri, Go unto Joseph, what he said to you, do. And the famine was over all the face of the earth, and Joseph opened all the storehouses, and sold unto the Mitzri, and the famine waxed sore in the land of Mitzrayim. And all countries came into Mitzrayim to Joseph for to buy corn, because that the famine was so sore in all lands. Chapter 42. Now when Yaakov saw that there was corn in Mitzrayim, Yaakov said unto his sons, Why do you look one upon another? And he said, Behold, I have heard that there is corn in Mitzrayim. Get you down thither and buy for us from thence, that we may live and not die. And Joseph's 10 brethren went down to buy corn in Mitzrayim. But Benjamin, Joseph's brother, Yaakov sent not with his brethren, for he said, Lest peradventure mischief befall him. And the sons of Israel came to buy corn among those that came, for the famine was in the land of Canaan. And Joseph was the governor over the land, and he it was that sold to all the people of the land. And Joseph's brethren came and bowed down themselves before him with their faces to the earth. And Joseph saw his brethren, and he knew them, but he made himself strange unto them, and spoke roughly unto them. And he said unto them, Whence come you? And they said, From the land of Canaan to buy food. And Joseph knew his brother, but they knew him not. And Joseph remembered the dreams which he dreamed of them, and said unto them, You are spies, to see the nakedness of the land you are come. And they said unto him, Nay, my lord, but to buy food are your servants come. We are all one man's sons, we are true men, your servants are no spies. And he said unto them, Nay, but to see the nakedness of the land you are come. And they said, Your servants are 12 brethren, the sons of one man in the land of Canaan, and behold, the youngest is this day with our father, and one is not. And Joseph said unto them, That is it that I spoke unto you, saying, You are spies. Hereby you shall be proved. By the life of Pharaoh you shall not go forth hence, except your youngest brother come hither. Send one of you, and let him fetch your brother, and you shall be kept in prison, that your words may be proved, whether there be any truth in you, or else by the life of Pharaoh surely you are spies. And he put them all together into ward 3 days. And Joseph said unto them the 3rd day, This do and live, for I fear Elohim. If you be true men, let one of your brethren be bound in the house of your prison. Go you, carry corn for the famine of your houses. But bring your youngest brother unto me, so shall your words be verified, and you shall not die. And they did so. And they said to one another, We are verily guilty concerning our brother, in that we saw the anguish of his soul when he besought us, and we would not hear. Therefore is this distress come upon us. And Reuben answered them, saying, Spoke I not unto you, saying, Do not sin against the child, and you would not hear? Therefore, behold, also his blood is required. And they knew not that Joseph understood them, for he spoke unto them by an interpreter. And he turned himself about from them, and wept, and returned to them again, and communed with them, and took from them Shimon, and bound him before their eyes. Then Joseph commanded to fill their sacks with corn, and to restore every man's money into his sack, and to give them provision for the way. And thus did he unto them. And they laded their asses with the corn, and departed thence. And as one of them opened his sack to give his ass provender in the inn, he espied his money. For behold, it was in his sack's mouth. And he said unto his brethren, My money is restored, and lo, it is even in my sack. And their heart failed them, and they were afraid, saying one to another, What is this that Elohim has done unto us? And they came unto Jacob their father, unto the land of Canaan, and told him all that befell unto them, saying, The man who is the Lord of the land spoke roughly to us, and took us for spies of the country. And we said unto him, We are true men, we are no spies. We be 12 brethren, sons of our father. One is not, and the youngest is this day with our father in the land of Canaan. And the man, the lord of the country, said unto us, Hereby shall I know that you are true men. Leave one of your brethren here with me, and take food for the famine of your households, and be gone. And bring your youngest brother unto me, then shall I know that you are no spies, but that you are true men. So will I deliver your brother, and you shall traffic in the land. And it came to pass, as they emptied their sacks, that, behold, every man's bundle of money was in his sack. And when both they and their father saw the bundles of money, they were afraid. And Jacob their father said unto them, Me have you bereaved of my children. Joseph is not, and Shimon is not. And you will take Benjamin away? All these things are against me. And Reuben spoke unto his father, saying, Slay my 2 sons. If I bring him not to you, deliver him into my hand, and I will bring him to you again. And he said, My son shall not go down with you, for his brother is dead, and he is left alone. If mischief befall him by the way in which you go, then shall you bring down my gray hairs with sorrow to the grave. Chapter 43. And the famine was sore in the land. And it came to pass, when they had eaten up the corn which they had brought out of Mitzrayim, their father said unto them, Go again, buy us a little food. And Yehudah spoke unto him, saying, The man did solemnly protest unto us, saying, Ye shall not see my face, except your brother be with you. If thou wilt send our brother with us, we will go down and buy you food. But if you will not send him, we will not go down. For the man said unto us, You shall not see my face, except your brother be with you. And Yisrael said, Wherefore dealt you so ill with me, as to tell the man whether you had yet a brother? And they said, The man asked us straitly of our state, and of our kindred, saying, Is your father yet alive? Have you another brother? And we told him according to the tenor of these words. Could we certainly know that he would say, Bring your brother down? And Yehudah said unto Yisrael his father, Send the lad with me, and we will arise and go, that we may live and not die, both we and you, and also our little ones. I will be surety for him. Of my hand shall you require him. If I bring him not unto you, and set him before you, then let me bear the blame forever. For except we had lingered, surely now we had returned this second time. And their father Yisrael said unto them, If it must be so now, do this. Take of the best fruits of the land in your vessels, and carry down the man a present, a little balm, and a little honey, spices, and myrrh, nuts, and almonds. And take double money in your hand, and the money that was brought again in the mouth of your sacks, carry it again in your hand, peradventure it was an oversight. Take also your brother, and arise, go again unto the man. And El Shaddai give you mercy before the man, that he may send away your other brother, and Benjamin. If I be bereaved of my children, I am bereaved. And the men took that present, and they took double money in their hand, and Benjamin, and rose up, and went down to Mitzrayim, and stood before Joseph. And when Joseph saw Benjamin with them, he said to the ruler of his house, Bring these men home, and slay, and make ready, for these men shall dine with me at noon. And the man did as Joseph bade, and the man brought the men into Joseph's house. And the men were afraid, because they were brought into Joseph's house, and they said, Because of the money that was returned in our sacks at the first time are we brought in, that he may seek occasion against us, and fall upon us, and take us for bondmen and our asses. And they came near to the steward of Joseph's house, and they communed with him at the door of the house, and said, O sir, we came indeed down at the first time to buy food. And it came to pass, when we came to the inn, that we opened our sacks, and behold, every man's money was in the mouth of his sack, our money in full weight, and we have brought it again in our hand. And the other money have we brought down in our hands to buy food. We cannot tell who put our money in our sacks. And he said, Peace be to you, fear not, your Elohim, and the Elohim of your father has given you treasure in your sacks. I had your money, and he brought Shimon out unto them. And the man brought the men into Joseph's house, and gave them water, and they washed their feet, and he gave their asses provender. And they made ready the present against Joseph came at noon, for they heard that they should eat bread there. And when Joseph came home, they brought him the present which was in their hand into the house, and bowed themselves to him to the earth. And he asked of them of their welfare, and said, Is your father well? The old man of whom you spoke, is he yet alive? And they answered, Your servant, our father, is in good health, he is yet alive. And they bowed down their heads and made obeisance. And he lifted up his eyes and saw his brother Benjamin, his mother's son, and said, Is this your younger brother of whom you spoke unto me? And he said, Elohim be gracious unto you, my son. And Joseph made haste, for his bowels did yearn upon his brother, and he sought where to weep, and he entered into his chamber, and wept there. And he washed his face, and went out, and refrained himself, and said, Set on bread. And they set on for him by himself, and for them by themselves, and for the Mitzri which did eat with him by themselves, because the Mitzri might not eat bread with the Ibri, for that is an abomination unto the Mitzri. And they sat before him, the firstborn according to his birthright, and the youngest according to his youth, and the men marveled one at another. And he took and sent messes unto them from before him. But Benjamin's mess was 5 times so much as any of theirs, and they drank and were merry with him. Chapter 44. And he commanded the steward of his house, saying, Fill the men's sacks with food, as much as they can carry, and put every man's money in his sack's mouth. And put my cup, the silver cup, in the sack's mouth of the youngest, and his corn money. And he did according to the word that Joseph had spoken. As soon as the morning was light, the men were sent away, they and their asses. And when they were gone out of the city, and yet not far off, Joseph said unto his steward, Up, follow after the men, and when you do overtake them, say unto them, Where have you rewarded evil for good? Is not this it in which my Lord drinks, and whereby indeed he divines? You have done evil in so doing. And he overtook them, and he spoke unto them these same words. And they said unto him, Wherefore said my Lord these words? Far be it from your servants to do according to this word. Behold, the money which we found in our sacks' mouths we brought again unto you out of the land of Canaan. How then should we steal out of your Lord's house silver or gold? With whomsoever of your servants it be found, both let him die, and we also will be my Lord's bondmen. And he said, Now also let it be according to your words. He with whom it is found shall be my servant, and you shall be blameless. Then they speedily took down every man his sack to the ground, and opened every man his sack. And he searched, and began at the eldest, and left at the youngest. And the cup was found in Benjamin's sack. Then they rent their clothes, and laded every man his ass, and returned to the city. And Yehudah and his brethren came to Joseph's house, for he was yet there, and they fell before him on the ground. And Joseph said unto them, What deed is this that you have done? Wot you not that such a man as I can certainly divine? And Yehudah said, What shall we say unto my Lord? What shall we speak? How shall we clear ourselves? Elohim has found out the iniquity of your servants. Behold, we are my Lord's servants, both we and he also with whom the cup is found. And Joseph said, Far be it from me to do this thing. The man with whom the cup has been found, he shall be my servant, but do you go up with safety to your father. Then Yehudah came near unto him, and said, O my lord, let your servant, I pray you, speak a word in my lord's ears, and let not your anger burn against your servant, for you are even as Pharaoh. My lord asked his servants, saying, Have you a father or a brother? And we said unto my lord, We have a father, an old man, and a child of his old age, a little one, and his brother is dead, and he alone is left with his mother, and his father loves him. And you said unto your servants, Bring him down unto me, that I may set mine eyes upon him. And we said unto my lord, The lad cannot leave his father, for if he should leave his father would die. And you said unto your servants, Except your youngest brother come down with you, you shall see my face no more. And it came to pass, when we came up unto your servant my father, we told him the words of my lord. And our father said, Go again, and buy us a little food. And we said, We cannot go down. If our youngest brother be with us, then we will go down. For we may not see the man's face, except our youngest brother be with us. And your servant, my father, said unto us, You know that my wife bare me 2 sons. And the one went out from me, and I said, Surely he is torn to pieces, and I saw him not since. And if you take this also from me, and mischief befall him, ye shall bring me down my gray hairs with sorrow to the grave. Now therefore, when I come to your servant my father, and the lad be not with us, seeing that his life is bound up in the lad's life, it shall come to pass, when he sees that the lad is not with us, that he will die. And your servants shall bring down the gray hairs of your servant our father with sorrow to the grave. For your servant became surety for the lad unto my father, saying, If I bring him not unto you, then I shall bear the blame to my father forever. Now therefore, I pray you, let your servant abide instead of the lad, a bondman to my lord, and let the lad go up with his brethren. For how shall I go up to my father, and the lad be not with me, lest peradventure I see the evil that shall come on my father? Chapter 45. Then Joseph could not refrain himself before all them that stood by him. And he cried, Cause every man to go out from me. And there stood no man with him, while Joseph made himself known unto his brethren. And he wept aloud. And the Mitzri and the house of Pharaoh heard. And Joseph said unto his brother, I am Joseph. Does my father yet live? And his brethren could not answer him, for they were troubled at his presence. And Joseph said unto his brethren, Come near unto me, I pray you. And they came near. And he said, I am Joseph, your brother, whom you sold into Mitzrayim. Now therefore be not grieved nor angry with yourselves that you sold me hither, for Elohim did send me before you to preserve life. For these 2 years has the famine been in the land, yet there are 5 years in which there shall be neither earing nor harvest. And Elohim sent me before you to preserve your posterity in the earth, and to save your lives by a great deliverance. So now it was not that you sent me hither, but Elohim, and he has made me a father to Pharaoh, and lord of all his house, and a ruler throughout all the land of Mitzrayim. Haste you, and go up to my father, and say unto him, Thus said your son Joseph, Elohim has made me lord of all Mitzrayim. Come down unto me, tarry not. And ye shall dwell in the land of Goshen, and ye shall be near unto me, you and your children, and your children's children, and your flocks, and your herds, and all that you have. And there I will nourish you, for yet there are 5 years of famine, lest you and your household and all that you have come to poverty. And behold, your eyes see, and the eyes of my brother Benjamin, that it is my mouth that speaks unto you. And you shall tell my father of all my glory in Mitzrayim, and of all that you have seen, and you shall haste and bring down my father hither. And he fell upon his brother Benjamin's neck and wept, and Benjamin wept upon his neck. Moreover, he kissed all his brethren, and wept upon them, and after that his brethren talked with him. And the fame thereof was heard in Pharaoh's house, saying, Joseph's brothers are come, and it pleased Pharaoh well, and his servants. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, Say unto your brethren, This do you, lade your beasts, and go, get you unto the land of Canaan. And take your father and your households, and come unto me, and I will give you the good of the land of Mitzrayim, and you shall eat the fat of the land. Now you are commanded, this do you, take you wagons out of the land of Mitzrayim for your little ones, and for your wives, and bring your father, and come. And regard not your stuff, for the good of all the land of Mitzrayim is yours. And the children of Yisrael did so, and Joseph gave them wagons according to the commandment of Pharaoh, and gave them provision for the way. To all of them he gave each man changes of raiment, but to Benjamin he gave 300 pieces of silver and 5 changes of raiment. And to his father he sent after this manner, 10 asses laden with good things of Mitzrayim, and 10 she-asses laden with corn and bread and meat for his father by the way. So he sent his brethren away, and they departed. And he said unto them, see that you not fall out by the way. And they went up out of Mitzrayim, and came into the land of Canaan unto Yaakov their father, and told him, saying, Yosef is yet alive, and he is governor over all the land of Mitzrayim. And Yaakov's heart fainted, for he believed them not. And he told them all the words of Yosef, which he had said unto them. And when he saw the wagons which Joseph had sent to carry him, the spirit of Yaakov their father revived. And Yisrael said, it is enough, Joseph my son is yet alive. I will go see him before I die. Chapter 46. And Yisrael took his journey with all that he had, and came to Beersheba, and offered sacrifices unto Elohim and of his father Yitzchak. And Elohim spoke unto Yisrael in the visions of the night, and said, Yaakov, Yaakov. And he said, Here am I. And he said, I am El, the Elohim of your father. Fear not to go down into Mitzrayim, for I there will make of you a great nation. I will go down with you into Mitzrayim, and I will also surely bring you up again, and Joseph shall put his hand upon your eyes. And Yaakov rose up from Beersheba, and the sons of Yisrael carried Yaakov their father, and their little ones, and their wives, in the wagons which Pharaoh had sent to carry him. And they took their cattle, and their goods which they had gotten in the land of Canaan, and came into Mitzrayim, Yaakov and all his seed with him, his sons and his sons' sons with him, his daughters and his sons' daughters, and all his seed brought he with him into Mitzrayim. And these are the names of the children of Yisrael, which came into Mitzrayim. Yaakov and his sons, Reuben, Yaakov's firstborn, and the sons of Reuben, Hanok and Palu, and Hezron and Carmeli. And the sons of Shimon, Lemuel, and Yamin, and Ohad, and Yakin, and Sohar, and Shaul, the son of a Canaanite woman. And the sons of Leui, Gershon, Kehath, and Merari. And the sons of Yehuda, and Onan, Shelah, and Peretz, Zerach. But and Onan died in the land of Canaan. And the sons of Peretz were Hezron and Hamel. And the sons of Yisachar, Tola, and Pua, and Yob, and Shimron. And the sons of Zebulun, Sered, and Elon, and Yachiel. These be the sons of Leah, which she bare unto Yaakov in Padan Aram, with his daughter Dinah. And all the souls of his sons and his daughters were 33. And the sons of Gad, Siphon, and Hagi, and Shunai, and Etzbon, Eri, Arodi, and Ar-Eli. And the sons of Asher, Yimnah, and Yeshua, and Yeshui, and Beriah, and Sirah their sister, and the sons of Beriah, Heber, and Machiel. These are the sons of Zilpah, whom Laban gave to Leah his daughter, and these she bare unto Yaakov, even 16 souls. The sons of Rachel, Yaakov's wife, Joseph and Benjamin. And unto Joseph in the land of Mitzrayim were born Manasseh and Ephraim, with Asnah, the daughter of Potipharah, Cohen of On, bare unto him. And the sons of Benjamin were Bela and Becher, and Ashbel, Gera, and Naaman, and Achi, and Rosh, Mupim, and Hupim, and Ard. These are the sons of Rachel, which were born to Yaakov. All the souls were 14. And the sons of Dan, Cushim, and the sons of Naphtali, Yachteel, and Guni, and Yetzer, and Shillem. These are the sons of Bilhah, which Laban gave unto Rachel his daughter. And she bare these unto Yaakov. All the souls were 7. All the souls that came with Yaakov into Mitzrayim, which came out of his loins, beside Yaakov's sons' wives, all the souls were 66. And the son of Joseph, which were born with him in Mitzrayim, were 2 souls. All the souls of the house of Yaakov, which came into Mitzrayim, were 70. And then he sent Yehudah before him unto Joseph, to direct his face unto Goshen, and they came into the land of Goshen. And Joseph made ready his chariot, and went up to meet Yasharel his father to Goshen, and presented himself unto him. And he fell on his neck, and wept on his neck a good while. And Yasharel said unto Joseph, Now let me die, since I have seen your face, because you are yet alive. And Joseph said unto his brethren, and unto his father's house, I will go up, and show Pharaoh, and say unto him, My brethren and my father's house, which were in the land of Canaan, are come unto me. And the men are shepherds, for their trade have been to feed cattle, and they have brought their flocks and their herds and all that they have. And it shall come to pass, when Pharaoh shall call you and say, What is your occupation? That you say, Your servants' trade have been about cattle from our youth, even until now, both we and also our fathers, that you may dwell in the land of Goshen, for every shepherd is an abomination unto the Mitzri. Chapter 47. Then Joseph came and told Pharaoh, and said, My father and my brethren and their flocks and their herds and all that they have are come out of the land of Canaan, and behold, they are in the land of Goshen. And he took some of his brethren, even 5 men, and presented them unto Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said unto his brethren, What is your occupation? And they said unto Pharaoh, Your servants are shepherds, both we and also our fathers. They said moreover unto Pharaoh, For to sojourn in the land are we come, for your servants have no pasture for their flocks, for the famine is sore in the land of Canaan. Now therefore we pray you, let your servants dwell in the land of Goshen. And Pharaoh spoke unto Joseph, saying, Your father and your brethren are come unto you. The land of Mitzrayim is before you. In the best of the land make your father and brethren to dwell. In the land of Goshen let them dwell, and if you know any men of activity among them, then make them rulers over my cattle. And Joseph brought in Yaakov his father, and set him before Pharaoh. And Yaakov blessed Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said unto Yaakov, How old are you? And Yaakov said unto Pharaoh, The days of the years of my pilgrimage are 130 years. Few and evil have the days of the years of my life been, and have not been attained unto the days of the years of my life of my fathers in the days of their pilgrimage. And Yaakov blessed Pharaoh, and went out from before Pharaoh. And Joseph placed his father and his brethren, and gave them a possession in the land of Mitzrayim, in the best of the land, in the land of Ramesses, as Pharaoh had commanded. And Joseph nourished his father and his brethren and all his father's household with bread according to their families. And there was no bread in all the land, for the famine was very sore, so that the land of Mitzrayim and all the land of Canaan fainted by reason of the famine. And Joseph gathered up all the money that was found in the land of Mitzrayim and in the land of Canaan for the corn which they bought. And Joseph brought the money into Pharaoh's house. And when the money failed in the land of Mitzrayim and in the land of Canaan, all the Mitzri came unto Joseph and said, Give us bread, for why should we die in your presence? For the money fails. And Joseph said, Give your cattle, and I will give you for your cattle, if money fail. And they brought their cattle unto Joseph. And Joseph gave them bread in exchange for horses, and for flocks, and for the cattle of the herds, and for the asses, and he fed them with bread for all their cattle for that year. When that year was ended, they came unto him the 2nd year, and said unto him, We will not hide it from my lord. Now that our money is spent, my lord also hath our herds of cattle. There is not aught left in the sight of my lord but our bodies and our lands. Wherefore shall we die before your eyes, both we and our land? Buy us and our land for bread, and we and our land will be servants unto Pharaoh, and give us seed that we may live and not die, that the land be not desolate. And Joseph bought all the land of Mitzrayim for Pharaoh, for the Mitzri sold every man his field, because the famine prevailed over them, and so the land became Pharaoh's. And as for the people, he removed them to cities from one end of the borders of Mitzrayim even to the other end thereof. Only the land of the Cohen bought he not, for the Cohen had a portion assigned them of Pharaoh, and did eat their portion which Pharaoh gave them, wherefore they sold not their lands. Then Joseph said unto the people, Behold, I have bought you this day, and your land for Pharaoh. Lo, here is seed for you, and you shall sow the land. And it shall come to pass in the increase, that you shall give the 5th part unto Pharaoh, and 4 parts shall be your own, for seed of the field, and for your food, and for them of your households, and for food for your little ones. And they said, You have saved our lives. Let us find grace in the sight of my Lord, and we will be Pharaoh's servants. And Joseph made it a law over the land of Mitzrayim unto this day, that Pharaoh should have the 5th part, except the land of the Cohen only, which became not Pharaoh's. And Yesharel dwelt in the land of Mitzrayim, in the country of Goshen, and they had possessions therein, and grew and multiplied exceedingly. And Yaakov lived in the land of Mitzrayim 17 years, so the whole age of Yaakov was 147 years. And the time drew nigh that Yesharel must die. And he called his son Joseph, and said unto him, If now I have found grace in your sight, put, I pray you, your hand under my thigh, and deal kindly and truly with me. Bury me not, I pray you, in Mitzrayim, but I will lie with my fathers, and you shall carry me out of Mitzrayim, and bury me in their burying place. And he said, I will do as you have said. And he said, Swear unto me. And he swore unto him. And Yesharel bowed himself upon the bed's head. Chapter 48. And it came to pass after these things, that one told Joseph, Behold, your father is sick. And he took with him his 2 sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. And one told Yaakov, and said, Behold, your son Joseph comes unto you. And Yesharel strengthened himself, and sat upon the bed. And Yaakov said unto Joseph, El Shaddai appeared unto me at Luz in the land of Canaan, and blessed me, and said unto me, Behold, I will make you fruitful, and multiply you, and I will make of you a multitude of people, and I will give this land to your seed after you for an everlasting possession. And now your 2 sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, which were born unto you in the land of Mitzrayim, before I came unto you in Mitzrayim, are mine. As Reuben and Shimon they shall be mine. And your issue, which you begat after them, shall be yours, and shall be called after the name of their brethren in their inheritance. And as for me, when I came from Padan, Rachel died by me in the land of Canaan in the way, when yet there was but a little way to come unto Ephrath. And I buried her there in the way of Ephrath. The same is Bethlehem. And Yasharel beheld Joseph's sons, and said, Who are these? And Joseph said unto his father, They are my sons, whom Elohim has given me in this place. And he said, Bring them, I pray you, unto me, and I will bless them. Now the eyes of Yesharel were dim for age, so that he could not see. And he brought them near unto him, and he kissed them, and embraced them. And Yesharel said unto Joseph, I had not thought to see your face, and lo, Elohim has showed me also your seed. And Joseph brought them out from between his knees, and he bowed himself with his face to the earth. And Joseph took them both, Ephraim in his right hand toward Yesharel's left hand, and Manasseh in his left hand toward Yesharel's right hand, and brought them near unto him. And Yesharel stretched out his right hand, and laid it upon Ephraim's head, who was the younger, and his left hand upon Manasseh's head, guiding his hands wittingly, for Manasseh was the firstborn. And he blessed Joseph, and said, Elohim, before whom my fathers Abraham and Yitzchak did walk, the Elohim which fed me all my life long unto this day, the angel which redeemed me from all evil. Bless the lads, and let my name be named on them, and the name of my fathers Abraham and Yitzhak, and let them grow into a multitude in the midst of the earth. And when Joseph saw that his father laid his right hand upon the head of Ephraim, it displeased him. And he held up his father's hand to remove it from Ephraim's head unto Manasseh's head. And Joseph said unto his father, Not so, my father, for this is the firstborn. Put your right hand upon his head. And his father refused, and said, I know it, my son, I know it. He also shall become a people, but he also shall be great. But truly his younger brother shall be greater than he, and his seed shall become a multitude of nations. And he blessed them that day, saying, In you shall Yasharel bless, saying, Elohim, make you as Ephraim and Manasseh. And he set Ephraim before Manasseh. And Yeshrael said unto Joseph, Behold, I die, but Elohim shall be with you, and bring you again unto the land of your fathers. Moreover, I have given to you one portion above your brethren, which I took out of the hand of the Emori with my sword and with my bow. Chapter 49. And Yaakov called unto his sons, and said, Gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days. Gather yourselves together, and hear, you sons of Yaakov, and hearken unto Yasharel your father. Reuben, you are my firstborn, my might, and the beginning of my strength, the excellency of dignity, and the excellency of power. Unstable as water, ye shall not excel, because you went up to your father's bed, then defiled you it. He went up to my couch. Shimon and Leui are brethren. Instruments of cruelty are in their habitations. O my soul, come not you into their secret, unto their assembly. Mine honor be not you united. For in their anger they slew a man, and in their self-will they dug down a wall. Cursed be their anger, for it was fierce, and their wrath, for it was cruel. I will divide them in Yaakov, and scatter them in all Yasharel. Yehudah, you are he whom your brethren shall praise. Your hand shall be in the neck of your enemies. Your father's children shall bow down before you. Yehudah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, you are gone up. He stooped down. He couched as a lion, and as an old lion. Who shall rouse him up? The scepter shall not depart from Yehudah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come. And unto him shall the gathering of the people be. Binding his foal unto the vine, and his ass's colt unto the choice vine, he washed his garments in wine, and his clothes in the blood of grapes. His eyes shall be red with wine, and his teeth white with milk. Zebulun shall dwell at the haven of the sea, and he shall be for a haven of ships, and his border shall be unto Sidon. Yissaschar is a strong ass, couching down between two burdens. And he saw that rest was good, and the land that it was pleasant, and bowed his shoulder to bear, and became a servant unto tribute. Dan shall judge his people as one of the tribes of Yasharel. Dan shall be a serpent by the way, an adder in the path, that bites the horse heels, so that the rider shall fall backward. I have waited for your salvation, O Yahuah. Gad, a troop, shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at last. Out of Asher his bread shall be fat, and he shall yield royal dainties. Naphtali is a hind let loose, he gives goodly words. Yosef is a fruitful bough, even a fruitful bough by a well, whose branches run over the wall. The archers have sorely grieved him, and shot at him, and hated him. But his bow abode in strength, and the arms of his hands were made strong by the hands of the mighty Elohim of Yaakov. From thence is the shepherd, the stone of Yasharel. Even by the El of your father who shall help you, and by the Shaddai who shall bless you with blessings of heaven above, blessings of the deep that lies under, blessings of the breasts and of the womb. The blessings of your father have prevailed upon the blessings of my progenitors unto the utmost bound of the everlasting hills. They shall be on the head of Yosef, and on the crown of the head of him that was separate from his brethren. Benjamin shall raven as a wolf. In the morning he shall devour the prey, and at night he shall divide the spoils. All these are the 12 tribes of Yasharel, And this is it, that their father spoke unto them, and blessed them, every one according to his blessing he blessed them. And he charged them, and said unto them, I am to be gathered unto my people. Bury me with my fathers in the cave that is in the field of Ephron and the Hittite, in the cave that is in the field of Machpelah, which is before Mamre, in the land of Canaan, which Abraham bought with the field of Ephron the Hittite for a possession of a burying place. There they buried Abraham and Sarah his wife. There they buried Yitzhak and Ribkah his wife, and there I buried Leah. The purchase of the field and of the cave that is therein was from the children of Heth. And when Jacob had made an end of commanding his sons, he gathered up his feet into the bed, and yielded up the ghost, and was gathered unto his people. Chapter 50. And Yosef fell upon his father's face, and wept upon him, and kissed him. And Yosef commanded his servants, the physicians, to embalm his father. And the physicians embalmed Yasharel. And 40 days were fulfilled for him. For so are fulfilled the days of those which are embalmed. And the Mitzri mourned for him 60 days. And when the days of his mourning were past, Yosef spoke unto the house of Pharaoh, saying, If now I have found grace in your eyes, speak, I pray you, in the ears of Pharaoh, saying, My father made me swear, saying, Lo, I die. In my grave which I have dug for me in the land of Canaan, there shall you bury me. Now therefore let me go up, I pray you, and bury my father, and I will come again. And Pharaoh said, Go up, and bury your father, according as he had made you swear. And Joseph went up to bury his father, and with him went up all the servants of Pharaoh, the elders of his house, and all the elders of the land of Mitzrayim. And all the house of Joseph, and his brethren, and his father's house, only their little ones and their flocks and their herds they left in the land of Goshen. And there went up with him both chariots and horsemen, and it was a very great company. And they came to the threshing floor of Atad, which is beyond Yarden, and there they mourned with a great and very sore lamentation. And he made a mourning for his father 7 days. And when the inhabitants of the land, the Canaani, saw the mourning in the floor of Atad, they said, This is a grievous mourning to the Mitzri. Wherefore the name of it was called Abel Mitzrayim, which is beyond Yarden. And his sons did unto him according as he commanded them. For his sons carried him into the land of Canaan, and buried him in the cave of the field of Machpelah, which Abraham bought with the field for a possession of a burying place of Ephron the Hittite before Mamre. And Yosef returned into Mitzrayim, he and his brethren, and all that went up with him to bury his father, after he had buried his father. And when Yosef's brethren saw that their father was dead, they said, Yosef will peradventure hate us, and will certainly requite us all the evil which we did unto him. And they sent a messenger unto Yosef, saying, Your father did command before he died, saying, So shall you say unto Yosef, Forgive, I pray you now, the trespass of your brethren and their sin, for they did unto you evil. And now, we pray you, forgive the trespass of the servants of the Elohim of your father. And Yosef wept when they spoke unto him. And his brethren also went and fell down before his face. And they said, Behold, we be your servants. And Yosef said unto them, Fear not, for I am in the place of Elohim. But as for you, you thought evil against me. But Elohim meant it unto good, to bring to pass, as it is this day, to save much people alive. Now therefore, fear you not, I will nourish you and your little ones. And he comforted them, and spoke kindly unto them. And Yosef dwelled in Mitzrayim, he and his father's house. And Yosef lived 110 years. And Yosef saw Ephraim's children of the 3rd generation. The children also of Machir, the son of Manasseh, were brought upon Yosef's knees. And Yosef said unto his brethren, I die, and Elohim will surely visit you, and bring you out of this land unto the land which he swore to Abraham, to Yitzhak, and to Jacob. And Yosef took an oath of the children of Yasharel, saying, Elohim will surely visit you, and you shall carry up my bones from hence. So Yosef died, being 110 years old, and they embalmed him, and he was put in a coffin in Mitzrayim.